Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. So today, hopefully one of the last live streams that we're gonna do in the 737-700 for the time being, because it won't be too far until the time will come for the 600. Now, I can't quite show you the new LNAV and stuff yet, but we are gonna get there sooner than you guys are thinking. So, for today I thought, probably the last 700 live stream in a while, so we gotta make this one something special. Even more so, because I bought myself some new equipment. And the new equipment includes, amongst others, a new streaming microphone, which is the EPOS B20, and a new headset as well from Corsair, the HS80. So, it's all new. Let me know what you guys think of the sound. Let me know if you want me to improve something, or if there is something that I should do different. I'm still kind of playing around with the settings over here, so I'm still having to get used to my new equipment as well. So do give me some feedback, please, in the comments down below. Alright, so, plan for today then is the Austrian 737-700 from Vienna to Innsbruck and probably, hopefully, back towards Vienna. The event on VATSIM starts at past, so in 28 minutes from now, which means that we'll hopefully have quite a bit of fun over the next 3 hours. And Colin, why the last 700 stream? Well, that's rather simple. We have the 600 just around the corner, and I can't wait to show you guys the 600. And then afterwards, it's not going to be too long for the 800. So, it's not going to be the last 700 stream overall, but it is going to be one of the last 700 streams for, like, the coming time period. Now, having that said, I've also improved a little bit on my latency in the stream, so that means that previously it was about a minute between what I've been recording and the time that you guys have been seeing it. So now that has changed, and that should be just about 5 seconds, so I'm really hoping that it will enable a little bit of a better interaction with you guys. Alright, so much about talking. Let's head into the aircraft and actually do something useful. You guys know me saying that. So, we do now 700. It's not a new aircraft for all of us. I've tried to configure it as closely as possible to the real Austrian 737-700s at the time that they've been flying them. But you guys kind of guessed it. It's not all that easy. So, I tend to say it is mostly accurate, but not 100%. Anyway, let's move forward then, and let's have a look at our operational flight plan. So, at least let's do that, provided that my streaming tool lets me do it. It sometimes messes around a little bit when I change my settings, but I'm sure you guys know that. Well, not that one. Oh boy, that's what happens when you change your settings just about the last moment before the stream. So, doesn't matter, we'll do it different. I'll just send you guys the link to the operational flight plan right in the chat below. So, here's it. Let's quickly talk about it then. What's going to be interesting today is our arrival into Innsbruck. And I know that most of you guys are waiting to see me doing the circle to land for runway 08. And I am actually going to do those. But not today. Sorry. No, I am going to do them, but I need to dig a little bit deeper because my company does not fly to Innsbruck, So I need to find some proper setup and some proper guides on it before we can start with the circling. Because when I do a tutorial, I do want to do it right. And I don't want to risk doing anything or telling you guys anything that's not meant to be. Colin, is there any news for the PMDG EFB? Well, none that I could talk about. Keep in mind, I'm still under non-disclosure agreement, so we can't just talk about everything. What we can talk about, though, is our destination and our destination weather. So let's have a look into the flight plan that we have in the comments of the video. We can see that our destination, Innsbruck, is actually not having quite the best weather here. If we have a look at the forecast, then we can see that the basic forecast is a wind of 090 degrees with 10 knots, with few clouds at 7,000 feet, and a temperature of 34 degrees. But we have a probability of 40% for temporary wind 240 at 25, gust 40, with thunderstorms around. And looking at the current weather, that does seem to have happened. So we have a wind of 250 at 19, thunderstorms on the field, and few in 6,000 feet CBs. So it does promise that we're gonna have quite a little of fun, let's call it that way, going into Innsbruck today. Alright, Munich is good though, they only have that weather forecast for 2300 local time, with a couple of wind gusts picking up from 2000 local time, so 18 Zulu. Anyway, if we're going back to the first page of or the second page of our operational flight plan, we can see that our company has actually planned us with 2,500 kilos of tankering fuel, which you can find in the additional reserve section. So we're planned to go out at 7 tons of fuel, which is more than enough, and which basically means that we have all the extra fuel that we could wish for, and that we don't have to take any extra fuel on top of what the flight plan has actually come up with. And Hootie the Horse, that OFP layout is the Ryanair layout. I'm focusing on that one on my channel because over here in Europe, Ryanair is the biggest operator of 737s, and therefore it is a very widespread format that's actually built particularly for this airplane. That's why I'm using the Ryanair layout in my stream. And Mikolai, how about some morning streams? Zulu time, not evening one. Well, the majority of my audience is online between like 16 UTC and about 2400, so I'll keep it like this. Alright, so let's actually do something useful. You guys heard me say that a couple times now, and still I haven't done like anything. So let's actually go ahead with it and start with some of the basic flight deck setup. After all, we do want to be early today because Innsbruck on every Wednesday is getting very, very busy, and I don't want to spend like half an hour in the holding showing you guys how lovely the PMDG 737 flies the holding, especially since it doesn't fly it very lovely. So let's be sure that we can actually go off block right on time. We're planned at an altitude of 30,000 feet here, so not all that high, but this is a very short flight, and you're gonna see that things are going to go very, very quickly. We're talking at about a 2,500 nautical mile, 2,500? No, 250 nautical miles over here. So, let's actually get our boarding going. The jetway is connected already, very good. So, we are planned at 124 passengers. And you guys can open up our doors so that we can start. And then we have 2,100 kilograms of cargo planned for today's flight. So we'll actually spread that out a little bit. 1,200 in the front and 1,000 in the back. So let's start loading. Alright, so for the FMC setup, you guys are fairly familiar with it, so I'll go over it really quick. It's a 700 with the current IRAC engine rating is 24K. We are just gonna copy and paste our routing over here. And for the flight plan, let's actually go ahead and request that one today. To do things a little bit different every now and then. So, Vienna to Innsbruck, select. and we'll have that one on request right now. So, route uplink is ready. Let's gonna go ahead and load that one. In the meantime, we are gonna be Austrian 66 India uniform today. Route uplink still loading. Let's get that one going. By the way, I really gotta talk with the operations department of the airline. Did you just hear our first officer coughing once again? I thought we've made it clear for him that he shouldn't come to work like this. But looks like he's got his own mind anyway. So, according to the ATIS, we're planned for departure Romeo 16. And that gives us, let's see, the Sobil 2 Bravo departure, I'm guessing. If there's any of the air traffic controllers that are currently online in the comments down here, and they do know already that I'm gonna get something different, just let me know, okay? And for the arrival, for now, let's plan the localizer to 6 approach. We have the Rattenberg transition and the Nanit to Alpha arrival. So, activate that one. Performance setup is easy. It's going to be a cost an X30 flight. After all, we don't want to waste too much time and we're not paying the fuel. 50.9 tons of zero fuel weight, and the cruise level is going to be 200. Which is actually just 600 feet below the maximum level that would be bearable for this flight. Top of climb wind 301 at 7, and the temperature +7, that makes it minus 37 degrees centigrade. Transition altitude in Austria, if I'm not mistaken, 11. But I'm gonna have to look that up in the takeoff briefing anyway. Route data uplink, yeah, we have that one already, thank you so much. So, those of you who followed along, especially on my fixed page video, they will know that we have to plan an engine out departure and probably a special engine out departure. So, somebody asked me where I'm getting that information from. And actually I'm taking that information from a fellow YouTuber, Blackbox711, who set up an absolutely splendid tool where we can get this information. I put the link in the comments below right now. It'll also be in the video description after the stream, and you can find it on blackbox.oneengineout.com. And over there, you enter the airport information tab, and then you just enter the ICAO of the airport that we're looking for. We're looking for Vienna today, and it's going to be a Romeo 16 departure. So we can see, if we go down a little bit, that we have the 18 DME point. That we're going straight ahead from a Whiskey Golf Mike to 18 DME, and then we're going to pick up a hold over there. So that's actually fairly straightforward, isn't it? Now, the way we're going to enter this, and I'm actually going to show you real quick what this looks like as well. So here we have it on screen, and the way we're going to fly this, or enter it, is we go on the fixed page, we enter Whiskey Golf Mike, like this, and then we enter an 18-mile ring, so /18, and that gives us the radio now. And that's basically it. That's how we enter the engine out sit. Thereafter we're going back towards Whiskey Golf Mike, so there is no need to enter this a second time. Alright, so that's basically how you put the engine out sit in. Told you it's a short flight, so I'm just going to prepare the VNAV page already as well. We're probably looking at something pretty much like this. I'll go non-standard and execute this so that I can request my descent winds. Gonna have to execute everything, of course, and here we go. Finally, looking at the flight plan again, we do have our destination QNH in here, which is 1018. So we can enter that one already as well. Forecast uplink ready, we're gonna load that and execute. Alright, so that's basically this part completed. While we're at it, let's quickly get our charts out as well. So for our flight, we are looking at a new flight from SimBrief. And here we have the Sobel departure on our chart. So first of all, transition altitude is 10,000 over here, so let me correct that real quick in the FMC. It's been a while since I've been to Vienna, I have to say. It's really been a while, so excuse me for not having everything 100% correct. And Mikola, you're absolutely right there. And Zephyr, when I enter /18 on the fixed page, yes, that is choosing the radial where it intercepts. So you can see over here that here is the intercept point, so that's the radial that we're seeing. Alright, cool. Then let's go ahead and do a departure briefing as soon as I have the charts out. So we've got to take the airport chart, the parking stands, and guys, I'm telling you, I messed the taxi up so many times in Vienna now. Today I gotta do it right. And if I'm doing it wrong today, you guys are welcome to call me out for it, okay? We're gonna take this one as a challenge today. So, all of that said and done, let's start with our departure briefing. So the threats for this departure most certainly include the taxi as we just went over. What are we gonna do to mitigate that? We're parked on Foxtrot 9 over here, and it's going to be a pushback onto taxi line 36. Then most likely 36 whiskey. And then we'll have to be careful if we go either into, if we continue on whiskey, or if we take exit 23 onto Echo, or something like that into Delta. It's going to be one of those, but I can't quite tell which one yet. Anyway, we are going to find out. Let's go ahead doing a route check then. Even though the route is uplinked, we still want to be 100% sure that it is the same one that we have in our flight plan. It has happened in real life that people flew something different than ATC expected because they had a different flight plan on board than what was in the air traffic control system. So we're going from Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey to Lima Oscar Whiskey India. Our call sign is Alpha Uniform Alpha 66 India Uniform. The routing is going via Sobel, direct Sydney. Oops, wrong button. Sobel, direct Sydney, direct Baxi, direct Nanit, and then we have the Nanit arrival for runway 26 at Innsbruck. Ground distance on this one, 229 versus 231. That is more than close enough, and we'll have 5.4 tons remaining, and we need 2.3 for a diversion towards Munich. So we have plenty of fuel to even go back to Vienna if we need to. Right, perfect. Then our time UTC is well, I've set it to something a little bit earlier so that we have daylight for the entire flight. So make it 14:30. QNH 1018, reading 600 feet-ish. Flight directors are on and the standby instruments set. I'm gonna set the MFRA here while we speak. That is gonna take a little while. We are all well familiar with it. So, it's going to be a left seat takeoff from runway 16, flaps 5, NADP2 with the backup at 1,000 feet actually, when I remember correctly. Nope, at 1600. So that is 1000 above the field elevation. Alright, perfect. Apart from that, special yielded straight at to 18D from Whiskey Golf Mike and then a right turn towards the VOR to pick up the holding over there. Emergencies. Above 80 knots, I will only reject the takeoff for fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind shear warning, aircraft unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop, I'll simultaneously close the thrust lever and disengage the auto throttle. Apply max manual braking, verify operation of the RTO auto brakes. I'll manually raise the speed brake lever and apply maximum reverse thrust. When the aircraft comes to stop, I will set the parking brake. Now comes the FO's part, and that's if you call stop, I will note the brakes on speed. I'll call speed brakes up or speed brakes not up and thrusters normal indications. For 100 knots, 8 knots, 6 knots, and the runway distance remaining, verify your actions and call your emissions. I'll call auto brake disarm and select flaps 40 when the parking brake has been set and advise ATC of the reject. We'll then identify the failure and carry out any jolts as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate, we redo the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CBR circuit breaker. And if the call B4V1 is keep going, no actions below 400 feet except to cancel any warnings and raise the landing gear with a positive rate. 400 feet verify heading select and we are going to carry out the memory items. At the MFRA, we'll buck up and retract the flaps on schedule. Flaps up no light, select level change, max continued thrust, engage the automatics, non-normal checklist, normal checklist, and then we'll decide on the further course of action. Talk to air traffic control and talk to the passengers. Right, so for the taxi then, that's the part that we basically talked about already. So we've got that one up here, and it's gonna be via the taxi line 36, and then either Whiskey, Echo or Delta to either Bravo 2 or Bravo 1 for the runway 16 departure. Sobel 2 Bravo departure is on a chart 10-3 Tango 1. We've got a speed restriction of a maximum 250 knots below flight level 100. And that is in, as you can see. Over here then, contact Wien radar when advised by the tower. Flight tracks are recorded and noise is monitored. Of course. Welcome to nowadays. Flying. So adhere to noise abatement profile as strictly as possible, and to expedite traffic, ATC may request aircraft to start the initial turn visually as soon as practicable. In this case, terrain clearance has to be assured by the pilot up to 2,400 feet. In case we do get that, we are going to fly no turns below 400 feet, and then at 400 feet we can make our right-hand turn. The SIDs are crossing airspace class Echo up to flight level 125, and due to that we'll actually enter speed restriction of 220 knots until flight level 130, which of course the PMDG doesn't let me put in when there is a restriction, and that one is going right into the bug tracker when the stream is finished. Initial climb clearance 5,000 feet. We'll put 5,001 into the MCP. Let's have a look at the routing then. From runway 16, it's a runway track of a 156 degrees. That's going to Whiskey Whiskey 269 with a maximum of 250 knots. That's a right turn to Whiskey Whiskey 377 above 3,500 feet. That's the one over here, and then it's 269 degrees, 12.8 miles, inbound to Whiskey Whiskey 380. 272 degrees, 30.4 miles, inbound to Sobel. And that is exactly what we have. The rest of the plan looks as expected as well. Alright, down here's a small note. Execute initial turns with a maximum of 205 knots and a bank angle of at least 20 degrees. That's where the 205 restriction is coming from over here. That basically completes our departure briefing. Do you guys have any questions on that? Alright. I guess you're typing the questions as we speak, so we'll get to them eventually. So, in the meantime, it looks like our boarding is finished and the loading of the cargo as well. So let's go ahead and release all the equipment. And when all of that is done, let's see if we can get everything set up here. So, today I'll see if I can introduce a new tool for you guys. Something that I really liked using, but that I have actually stopped using a little bit. Over the past, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months-ish. You haven't seen it yet in action, so here it is. Small little tool here called Easy CPDLC. And that one is actually a data link tool that we can use for CPDLC connections and for requesting our IFR clearances and a couple of en route clearances as well. So this tool works with quite a couple of different windows, so I'll have to play a little bit of tricks here to try to get that on screen, all of it, but here we go. So, we'll request PDC. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you. So, request PDC. Recipient is Vienna. We are the Austrian 66 India uniform, a Boeing 737-700, to Innsbruck from Vienna. On stand, Foxtrot 9er, and we have an ATIS, information Quebec. I click on send, and the request is sent to ATC. Now we've simply got to wait And air traffic control, provided they do offer PDC over here, should actually send us our IFR clearance momentarily. Now, I wish we could do this in the FMC, but, you know. And Daniel, that's a good spot you made there in the comments. And, indeed, it should show 205 knots or less, but that's a database problem, with friendly greetings from Navigraph not supporting the above or below in the PMDG database. It should be available, but a new database update is going to come for the PMDG within hopefully the next, don't know, couple of months or so. And then that is hopefully going to be a thing of the past. And Merix498, hello there, flying towards Zion, I think. Yeah, it is a demanding approach, but I've not been there in real life yet, and in the sim I did it a couple times. Probably I'm gonna do a tutorial on it at some point. Alright, we're still waiting for our clearance, by the way, so I don't know, probably they don't have PDC over here. So let's actually go on voice and request it via voice. Inbound, hello, Austrian 66 India Uniform Information Quebec, request clearance to Innsbruck.
Blocked.
Blocked, okay, let's give it a while. Nobody.
Number 167, hold position.
Hold in position.
Inbound, hello, Austrian 66 India Uniform Information Quebec, request clearance to Innsbruck.
Blocked.
Blocked? Really?
EC77 Charlie, contact wind tower on 123.8, have a flight service.
I kinda don't wanna believe it. That this has been blocked again.
I'll get a safe frequency scan for EC from something.
123.8.
1238 EC from 7 Charlie, thank you.
Number 81, contact wind tower on 123.8, have a flight service.
Wind tower 123.8, thank you, Amber 81.
Being ground, Austrian 66 India Uniform Info Quebec, request clearance to Innsbruck.
Tower 1238, Servus of
Blocked again, unbelievable.
Number 167, continue texting left via whiskey and then exit.
Alright, delivery should be online in a minute, so
Number 167.
we'll just have to keep it at that for now. So in that case, let's go ahead with our takeoff performance then. We don't want to waste too much time either.
Ready to push instructions.
So, 0-fuel-51-3, that's 400 kilos more than planned, that's fine with me.
Lufthansa 18 Kilo
So,
Charlie, stand by.
we are going from Vienna on the runway 16, we'll take Bravo 4
in the
figures.
uniform, ready to copy.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, ready to copy.
Austrian 66 in the uniform, information, Quebec is currently cleared to Innsbruck, where the 2 Bravo departure, out of runway 16, inch climb 5,000 feet, score 1000.
Austrian 11 in your uniform, clear to Innsbruck, Sobels 2 Bravo departure, runway 16, fly planned route, climb 5,000 feet and squawk 1000.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, retake correct, QNH 1018.
QNH 1018, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Right, so transponder code 1000. We'll actually have to turn that off for now.
North.
Alright, so we are cleared via the Sobel to Bravo departure.
North. We're
Going to an altitude of 5,000 feet, let's put that in. And on a squawk of 1000.
Lufthansa 18 Kilo Charlie.
Right, perfect. Then back to our performance calculation. The wind is 160 at 11, so straight headwind. Temperature 32, QNH 1018, optimum, and let's actually go for optimum flap setting here. It's a 700 after all. And our takeoff weight is 58,400. Calculate. 22k takeoff, 37 degrees. So 22, 37, 92.8 versus 92.0. That is like close enough. Let's get our APU running. And it's going to be a flap 1 takeoff today, with a trim of 6.4 units. And while we're waiting for that, the speeds are going to be from the FMC due to the different aircraft type, and 136 knots on the V2. So 6.4 units, and that's like this. Alright. So that's basically it. As soon as the guys are ready with the APU, we can actually get going then.
Being ground actually 64500 HH.
In the meantime, let's go ahead, close our doors.
Flight 6451, being ground.
To 1 known from
There it is.
requesting as far to Milano flight.
Alright, and it's so hot today, I'll put the air conditioning on straight away. The engineers can complain to that. The engineers can complain about that afterwards. Also, the runway heading should still be in here. Alright, so that's about it then. Perfect.
Cleared by the Austin 5 Bravo departure runway 1.
So, safety inspection checks before start checks down to the line. Services checks, check, maintenance status check, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library check, RS mode selectors, nav, gear pins, 1, 2 and 3 removed, light test checked. Keep in mind, I loaded the airplane uploaded before, so I had done that before I started the stream, sorry. Oxygen is set 100%, yaw damper on, no, now, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches, normal and auto. Fuel, so
Ground, very good evening. It's
for the trip we need 6,990 and we have 7,000 on board with 4 pumps on. Cabin utility IFE on, emergency exit lights on, fast modes on, window heat on, air compress, pack solo bleeds on, set, press mode selector, auto, instruments, thrust check, auto brakes, RTO, hydraulics, normal, speed brake, down attend, parking brake, set, step and credit switches, normal, river fire warning, check, radius radar transponder, set standby, radar aileron trims, 3 and 0, take a briefing, discussed, PA, complete, FMC and CDU.
Connect 1018, runway 27 Foxtrot, thanks.
Set, and 1 indicated airspeed box. We have automatic, reduced 22k, speeds 293036 set. Step trim, 6.4 units, set, performance weight and balance, sign and send. Phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight and windows and cockpit door. Locked, doors closed, passengers seated. B4 start checklist complete. Austrian 66 uniform India, stand Foxtrot 9er, request pushback.
Austrian 66 India uniform, pushback start approved, facing east.
Austrian 66 India uniform, pushback and startup approved, facing east. Okay.
Cockpit to ground.
Requesting
Go ahead, flight deck.
Answer 180 Charlie.
We will be
So,
ready
before start
shortly.
checks below the line,
Roger.
air compacts, non-standard auto, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder all off. Before start checklist complete.
Lufthansa 18 Kilo Charlie,
So,
taxi holding point 1816, via Lima, whiskey and exit.
They're taking their time, of course, again, as always.
Holding point runway 16, Lima, whiskey and exit point 22, Lufthansa 180 Charlie.
Austrian 1818, contact Wien
Nikolai,
Tower,
correct my Vienna page transition altitude.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead, flight deck. We are ready for pushback and engine
Oopsie,
start.
when I'm looking around, my
Release the
frame rate is
parking
really
brakes, please.
dropping. Well, welcome to Vienna.
Parking brake
always
released.
happens over here.
Pushback.
Station
Right, so, push 'em back.
Will back shortly.
And starting engine number 2.
You're clear behind. You can start your engines at your discretion.
Roger. Number 2. And we have N2. Oil pressure. And 1. You observe the engine valve and the spar valve in transit, then closing. That's what the first bright and then dim indications mean. Oh, looks like I'm actually getting anywhere close to the taxiway line today. Okay, good start number 2. We'll isolate a pack and start number 1. Okay, forget what I said about the taxi line. We are still far from it.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please. Parking brakes set.
The Channel 9 was
Roger.
737 NG
Okay,
driver after
tow
all,
bar is
not
disconnected.
Pushback driver.
The equipment is
And
clear.
2, all
We will
press
see you on the
N1.
left side with the pin. Thanks.
Once
And
again,
disconnect
lights going
and go to
bright,
hand
means
signals.
valves on
Thanks.
transit, lights
Have a
going
good
off,
flight.
lights in
See you
command
later.
position. Ah, Mikolai, you mean the transition level? Yep, that is correct. I'm gonna correct that as soon as we get the ATIS from Innsbruck, because then we'll have to work over it anyway again. Start a cutout, monitor 1. 1 stable. Okay, 2 good engine starts, clear disconnect, clear signal on the left hand side with a pin, and have a good day, bye bye. So, non-standard from what I'm used to, it's just gonna be a flap 1 takeoff today. Flight controls, full up, full down, full left, full right, full left, full right. Recall, checked. And we are aware of the message. Alright, B4 taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, propane on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto bleeds on, isolation off, auto, flaps.
56451, taxi to holding point
1 required, 1 selected, and green light. Step trim, 6.4 units required and set. Start levers idle, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Austrian 66 India uniform, request taxi. We'll write the clearance down in the stretch pad.
66 India uniform, taxi to holding point 116, fire whiskey and exit 22.
Austrian 66 India uniform, taxi holding point runway 16 via whiskey and exit 22. Alright, so we'll write that down, and before we start moving, let's have a very quick look at the taxi chart, just to be on the safe side that we are actually not messing it up again over here. So, that's our taxi chart, straight ahead, to the left, around the corner, and then the first to the right, exit 22. Alright, so that makes sense, let's go for it. Brake released, config check, and off we go.
Lufthansa 18 Kilo Charlie, contact wind tower 123, simulate traffic, flight service.
123.8, thank you very much, bye-bye. Good, thank you, John.
Quite a bit of Austrian traffic over here. Well, it's Vienna after all. But, you know. Alright, so we're gonna go the first to the left to follow whiskey. And then around the corner. I guess that's probably beyond the light pole over here. Marcos, I'm going to answer your comment in a moment when we're airborne and when we have a little bit more time, okay? So, I've read it, I'll answer. Okay, clear on the right and clear on the left. Then we're going to the left here. Four. So we're going further to the left now. Okay, and then the first exit on the right. That's clear now. Okay, before takeoff, check this down to the line. Config, checked, flaps, 1, green light, step trim, 6.4 units, set, takeoff briefing. It's going to be a left C takeoff on runway 16, flaps 1, NADP 2, and we have PAX auto bleeds on, anti-ice off. Takeoff speeds 125, 130, 136, and that's all set. And our SID is going straight ahead.
Contact Wind Tower 123.8, having a flight service.
123.8, Austrian 66 in your uniform, cheers. Okay, and then the next to the right, that's exit 22. Yeah, that's what the sign says as well. Okay, so we'll just go straight ahead to the intersection over here. We don't need to go full length. Yeah, EO SID straight ahead to 18 miles from Whiskey Golf Mike, and then a right turn to the VOR, kilometer 5000. That's going to keep us safe over here. Any questions? No? Very good. Alright. Twin Towers, Airbus, Austrian 66, India uniform, taxiing to intersection Bravo 2, ready for departure.
Austrian 66, India uniform, Wien Tower, Airbus. Behind incoming traffic, line up runway 16 behind.
Austrian 66, India uniform, behind the inbound traffic, line up runway 16 behind. Okay, let's slow it down a little bit. We can see the traffic coming over there. In the meantime, before takeoff, check this below the line. MCP, set, transponder, TSRA, strobe lights, on, holding at landing lights. So, that's our traffic. Let's see what the guy's gonna do. I want to see a greaser. I want to see a greaser. Now the pressure is on. Is that a Eurowings? I think that is Eurowings. Yeah, it is. And here he comes. Well, a textbook landing. Oh, no bounce.
You on holding short Bravo 2.
And he's down again.
Flight 6451 Wien, hello, number 2 for departure.
Well, okay. He bounced.
6451.
Not the greaser I was looking for, but well, you can't have it all, I guess. Doesn't matter, he's down on the ground, he's safe. That's all we're looking for.
Approaching 16.
Checked. And the left is clear now.
7750, vacate to Jet Bravo 8.
7750, welcome to Vienna, ground 1216, ciao ciao.
216, German 7750, danke, tschüss.
Austrian 66, India uniform, wind 16011 knots, runway 16 clear takeoff.
On runway
Austrian 66 India uniform, runway 16, clear for takeoff.
Flight
Okay, landing lights
6451
on,
behind,
before takeoff
departing
checklist
traffic, line up and wait,
complete.
runway 16 behind.
Then,
Behind,
stabilized, set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Checked.
Reporting.
You're up. So, of course, with a flap 1 takeoff, the aircraft is climbing quite a bit steeper than usual. LNAV. Bug up.
Austria 66 India Uniform, contact wind radar 134675, ciao.
134.675 Austrian 66 India Uniform, tschüss.
Flight 6451, wind 16011 knots, runway 16 to takeoff.
134.675. Wien Radar, Servus, Austrian 66 India Uniform 3100, climbing 5000.
The 60 India Uniform, Wien Radar, Servus, identify, climb level 240.
Climb level 240, Austrian 66 India Uniform. Okay, set, 240 checked. We are basically past the turn. Flaps up, no lights. Vienna. No, you don't go into Altic Wire. Here we are. Okay, after takeoff checklist. Okay, better stay on track here. Set standard.
Austin 733, these on 4,000 feet.
This is 4,000 feet, Austin 733.
Alright, and we're cleared above level 150, so let's
Austin
go
733,
full
contact
thrust.
arrival 119, depth 18, crossing only, shutdown.
198, Austin 733, thank you, bye.
So, after takeoff checklist, air condition and pressurization is 2.8, climbing and set. Altimeters on standard, passing 7.1, climbing 240. After takeoff checklist complete, and release the cabin crew. So let's see how bad the weather in Innsbruck is actually going to be. I mean, this surely doesn't look like major thunderstorms.
Wind radar to the airflight 6451, passing 3,500 to 5,000.
Flight 4, section 6451, Servus, identify, climb level 230, section 240.
Right, we'll go speed and event. We'll just keep the speedy until passing level 130 because of the SID going through airspace echo. So there is actually a chance that we might encounter some VFR traffic on the way out here. So we'll have to fly by sea and avoid. So looking at the window is very important for this departure. But
I fly 6451, proceed direct Austin.
Direct Austin, airflight 645.
okay, this actually looks quite good. Then let's go ahead and do the 10 checks before we start accelerating. Fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, the lights are off, APU off, air conditioning and pressurization is now 5.0, climbing set. Fast belts auto, recall checked. And we've got to monitor the guard frequency. So that's 1 to 1.5 monitoring. And that is the 10 checks complete. Then close the speed window and we'll start our acceleration. Still hand flying this a little bit. Once the 737 is trimmed out, it's really an easy airplane to fly. Trimming it out is not always that easy when it's turbulent, but once you have a hang for it, it is an easy aircraft to fly. Even though Boeing themselves do say that the 737 is not as forgiving as, for example, the 747. So interestingly enough, Boeing says that they would rather see a brand new pilot fly a 747 than a 737. I keep finding that one amazing. Basically, people always say that the more experience you get, the bigger aircraft you should fly, and the 747...
66 India uniform, contact wind radar 13435, ciao.
134.35, Austrian 66 India uniform, tschüss. Wien Radar, schönen guten Abend. Austrian 66 India Uniform, passing 175, climbing 240, Mount Sobel.
Guten Abend, Austrian 66 in der Uniform, Wien Radar, Radar Contact, climb flight level 300.
Climb flight level 300, Austrian 66 India Uniform. Set. 300 checked. Okay, from now on it's straight ahead, so the autopilot can do that just as good as we can. Right, so, what I was just about to say is, I really find it amazing that people in general seem to think that the more experienced the pilot, the more passengers his aircraft should be capable of taking. But, at least in terms of when the 737 is concerned, it should really be the other way around.
The 090 contact Wien Radar 134.675.
So, a couple of your questions now, guys.
134.675, easy 09.
Let's start backwards in time. Lassie, when you step climb in the 737, do you have to adjust the pressurization panel? Yes, you do. Nikolai, can I use real time because of the sunsets? Not today, okay? The problem is, if I was to use real time and we would be entering the Innsbruck Valley, we'd have the sun right in front of us, so we wouldn't see a lot. That's why I decided against it.
Requesting out of cockpit 3 minutes, Lufthansa 1
Then, Matrix 498. All of the voice effects are from FS Realistic, or do you use more mods? I use RAS Professional from FS2 Crew for the runway callouts. And Pushback Express, also from FS2 Crew, for the voices during the pushback. So then, Nikolai, after the new 737 update, when I enter fuel, it always says insufficient fuel if I enter maximum value. Well, the insufficient fuel message is gonna pop up when the airplane expects to arrive with less than the final reserve fuel. So make sure that your inserted routing is correct. Check the progress page for that. So if you look at the progress...
66 India Uniform direct to Nanit.
Austrian 66 India Uniform direct to Nanit. Okay. Execute. LNAV available. LNAV. So basically, be sure to check the progress page over here. Have a look at the distance to your destination and the estimated fuel. And if the distance to destination is something ridiculously high, then you've probably entered a waypoint that's somewhere in an incorrect part of the Earth, really. That would be my first guess. The 737 you see right now in my simulator is actually also the public release version of the latest update, so if it was a bug in the 737, I should probably see it just like you. Right now, Marcus, your question. I'll translate it into English for everybody listening along. Servus, yesterday I did my first RNAV approach in the 737, and just before final approach I got a VNAV disconnect, the glide path angle was gone, and the flap and VREF entry has been gone. Do I have any idea? Okay, so, that sounds to me like there is something incorrect in the FMC. So, technically speaking, of course, that shouldn't happen, but I guess either the routing calculation messed up, that's going to be fixed with the upcoming LNAV update, I hope. Or, apart from that, check if there has been any message previously or anything just saying that the routing you have in your FMC is not logical. If you can tell me which approach exactly you did, just tell me the procedure, and over the next couple of days I'll see if I can recreate something, and if I can actually find an issue with the 737, I'm going to send it to the developers. Then Bruno, are the Microsoft Flight Simulator physics any good? Well, I will say yes here. We all can be nitpicky and we can find a thousand things that could be better. But we'll have to keep in mind that we are talking about a simulator for like $80 for your home computer or your Xbox. And for that it does have quite good physics. Of course, there can be improvements, and X-Plane probably still has the better physics. But I tend to say the MSFS physics are overall okay.
Lufthansa 18 Kilo Charlie, München, radar 132550. Schönen Flug, ciao, ciao.
And Marix, can I tell you the name of the mods that I'm using? Yeah, I can write them down for you. So, we have FS2 Crew, Runway Advisory and Awareness System, FS2 Crew, Pushback Express, and FS Realistic Professional. And of course the air traffic control is from VATSIM.
Radar, Servus Lufthansa 07 Tango at Salzburg, request Fahrerman clearance.
Servus Lufthansa 07 Tango.
Alright, at cruise level.
126,275. Servus.
Vienna and
126,275
concepts.
Lufthansa 07 Tango.
So, now comes the interesting part. Let's have a look into our arrival. And let's have a look at Innsbruck. Current weather for Innsbruck. Information Alpha at 1720. Transition level not determined. Wind 280 at 19. Variable 250 and 320. Visibility more than 10. Clouds few 6000. Few 6000 CB. Scattered 10,000. Temperature 23. Dew point 17. QNH 1018. Recent thunderstorms. And becoming wind 270 at 6. Okay, so we'll go 1018 on the QNH. Then let's have a look into our forecast page here. 250, we're gonna stick with this. 1018 is in. Then let's have a look at our approach chart for Innsbruck. We'll pop that up for you guys. So in here, transition level by ATC, and they say not determined, so we've just gotta ask them. It's gonna be the localizer DME East approach. Yep, that's it. And what do they have here? Transition altitude also by ATC. Okay, we've gotta ask them what it's gonna be. For now, I'll stick with the 130, and they will eventually figure it out. For the arrival, it's going to be Romeo 16. We'll put a 90-mile ring in as 3 times the cruise altitude, and a 10-mile ring and a 4-mile ring. Now comes the funny part, dialing in the minimums. So we have 3,500 feet here. And we all know how long that is going to take.
Uniform, contact Wien 126275. Schönen Flug für dich.
126.275, Austrian 66, India Uniform. Tschüss. Okay, 126 decimal 275.
Ready for pushback.
Lufthansa 155, calibrate shortly.
Wien Radar, schönen guten Abend, Austrian 66, India Uniform, Flight Level 300, I'm not managed.
That's an 66 India Uniform, Wien, Servus. Lufthansa 155, push and start approach.
Alright, 3,300 feet. We have 254 degrees on the course.
Lufthansa 567, descent level 310 on conversion speed 290 left.
254 and
Uganda 567, descent level
254. Frequency 1111. I guess most flight simmers will be very familiar with the setup that I'm doing right now.
Possible.
And then we'll take the room NDB 320, and that's going active on the ADF.
Okay, 3 Bravo Echo, contact München
Then of course
134
back for the initial approach 303.
Hotel 4150, danke und Servus auf der 3 Bravo Echo.
Wings 23 Charlie Juliet, contact München 134.150.
For the initial part of the approach.
Contact mission 134, decimal 150, Eurowings 23 Charlie Juliet.
Forecast page, let's just request the latest winds, and then we should be ready to start the briefing.
Lufthansa 07 Tango at Salzburg, Wingtest Startup and Clearance.
Lufthansa 07 Tango cleared Frankfurt, Innenraum 1 Alpha, climb 6000, squawk 1000.
Lufthansa 07 Tango cleared Frankfurt, Innenraum 1 Alpha, climbing 6000, squawk 1000.
Okay, so, our threats for the arrival. We do have some very high terrain around the area. If we just have a look at the radar minimum chart over here, we can see minimum altitudes around Rattenberg NDB of 9,000, 9,500, 10,000 towards the south, and even 14,500. So, high terrain around. However, it's just few clouds, even though it's few CVs, so we should have good visual contact with the terrain. Also, we are using the terrain display, even though we do have no terrain peaks mode on this one, so we're actually only going to see terrain that's within 2,000 feet of our actual airplane altitude. So if we don't see anything right now, that's actually as expected, and that's how the earlier terrain displays actually worked. So, and that's pretty much it for the threats for our arrival. Of course, slowing the airplane down is also a bit of a thing, since we start the descent in 9,500 feet.
Auckland 66 India, uniform descent level 240, rate of descent 1000 feet per minute.
Austrian 66 India uniform, descent level 240 at 1000 feet per minute. Okay, set. 240 checked. We'll go for altitude intervent, because Vienna is going to descend at 1000 feet a minute.
Condor 2 Alpha Victor, no further ATC,
and it's actually doing that. We would have expected that. Okay, so 250 below flight level 100, forecast page is filled in, rings around runway 26, 10 miles, 4 miles. For the arrival itself, we have the Nanit 2 Alpha arrival, which is on the chart 20-2, effective 12th of August. Going ahead from here. Stars crossing through airspace class Echo up to level 125, so let's put 220 knots below flight level 130 so that we don't exceed 220 while we're inside airspace Echo. Then from Nanit above 15,000 feet, this one is taking us to Rattenberg NDB, 274 degrees, 16.7 miles, and Rattenberg above 9,500, that's what we have. From there we join the localizer DME East approach, that is on plate 11-1, effective 30th of December. Frequency is 111.1, that's active on both sides, and the course is 254, also set on both sides. Runway elevation 1900, which we can adjust now.
number 2 behind Lufthansa A32.
So we're starting from Rattenberg, 9500 towards Adwig, from where we're going to intercept the localizer.
Lufthansa 125, radar contact 4000.
Now there is another small threat for our arrival here, and that is that we do have a glide slope available on our way down, but we're not allowed to use it until we are within 10 miles from Innsbruck Airport. So that's another usage for our 10-mile ring over here. We are not going to use the glide slope before we reach the 10 miles. Then at 19 DME, that's the Fox, we'll enter our interceptor descent profile. It's going to be a 3-degree profile, actually 3.8.
India uniform, direct Adwig.
Austrian 66 India uniform, direct Adwig. Okay, that's Adwig.
Chart 57 with you with information SHRA.
So, 3.8 degree descent, so rather steep, so we want to have at least plus 5 out by the time that we intercept our descent. Then we have 19 DME in 2500, 17 DME 8700 feet, 14 DME 7500 feet, 9 DME 5500 feet.
57, confirm your destination is Wien,
then
Lima,
we have 6.3 DME,
whiskey.
which is the Mike Lima point at 4400 feet, and after that we are going to go visual anyway. Well, latest by the minimum, of course, but we'll be visual at this point.
57, turn left, heading 050.
So, for the missed approach, it's gonna be
turn left,
not in the FMC, so we'll have to be careful with this.
050.
Climb on the localizer course with maximum gradient to 1 DME, then turn left
level 1
onto 060 degrees to Romeo Uniform Mike locator, rejoin the localizer outbound, and continue climb on 074 degrees with a maximum gradient. At 14 DME, turn left to Rattenberg and hold at 9,500.
KLM 3840.
So basically, missed approach straight at to 1 DME from the ILS, turn left towards the NDB,
Lufthansa 125,
fly outbound
contact
till 14
München
miles and the
123
left to
decimal 9,
Lottenberg.
bye-bye.
Oh wait, we've got to do this one manually.
Goodbye, servus.
Okay,
Lufthansa 4 Lima Echo speed
for diversion
290
towards Munich we
operator.
need 2.3 tons. We're arriving at
290
5.3, so that's like an hour and a half extra fuel, so plenty of fuel. And if you guys joined the stream a little bit later...
In the uniform descent level 220.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, descent flight level 220. So, set. I'll just quickly check in here that it didn't do a cruise descent. No, it didn't. Okay. So, 220 set and checked.
KLM 3,
So, plenty of fuel. We're going to use 200 kilos extra fuel. So that is a landing weight of 56.6. Now that is pretty heavy. So just a quick check, max landing weight is 58.6.
feet per minute operator.
So our landing weight is actually fine.
2,000.
Let's do a little bit of calculation then on the way in. Landing en route. We are going towards
567 negative descent
Innsbruck
level
onto the runway 26 with a 2.5 gradient. Actually no.
500 feet per minute.
Where is it? We calculated for a 5% gradient, so we've got to insert this in the performance tool as well.
2,000 perimeter
So 5% gradient. Let's take a wet runway because they had recent thunderstorms around. The wind 280 at 18. Temperature is 22 and we have 1019.
I'll call you back shortly.
Flaps 30 and the landing weight 56,600. Year of addition 5 knots, calculate.
The 155 taxi.
So this one actually says we need maximum auto brake. What happens if you use the reversers?
Luxia 9732 taxi.
We still need maximum auto brakes.
Lima report ready.
Okay, what happens if we do a flap 40 landing? Then it works with auto brake 3. Okay, so we're actually going to do a flap 40 landing there with auto brake 3.
KLM 3840 and 4,000 to turn
Actually,
right.
I've got to correct the calculation. Yeah, I forgot the VRF addition. So let's go for 10 knots of
100 KLM 34.
VRF addition due to the wind.
In the uniform descent level 170.
Austrian 66 in the uniform descent flight level 170.
Lufthansa 4 Lima Echo contact München 123 decimal 9.
170 checked. Okay, so it's going to be maximum auto brake. Nothing we can do about it. If we do maximum auto brake, then we can also go back to a flap 30 landing. Because that makes the airplane a bit easier to fly when we have the makes it easier to fly when we have the headwind and some possible gusts. Right, then, 426, we're gonna vacate hopefully at Alpha, and then via Lima to some of those stands up here. And that's basically it for the approach briefing. You guys have any questions?
Oh, sorry, München 134, 150, Lufthansa 323, schönen Abend, ciao.
Jazz 57, contact Wien radar 134.675.
Let's go ahead with the descent checks real quick. So, pressurization. Land out 1900, NEIS off, approach with fuel, discussed, IS and outbox,
57, contact
checked and set. Descent checklist complete.
134675, roger, thank you.
Radar Servus Ocean, Patron, flight level 30,
Ocean 8 Papa Whiskey, radar contact level 380.
So, for the questions down there, HM, does good condition indicate a wet runway? Yes, it does.
120 cleared IS 15.
And Marcus, that's all understood. Thank you very much. Francisco, how long until you will fly? Be flying over sea?
128.975.
128.975, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Bye.
Belarus 769, contact München 123.
So let's see how long the holding's gonna be. Innsbruck, hello, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Descent level 170, inbound Atwick.
66 in your uniform, Innsbruck, Radar. Servus, Info Bravo, current expect localizer DME East, approach descent flight level 150.
Info Bravo, expect localizer DME East, descent flight level 150, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Set.
November 162
That's
Bravo,
150 checked. Then let's quickly check the ATIS.
Turn left
and transition level is still not determined, so we've got to ask him to confirm the transition level.
Localizer east approach, 162 Bravo Romeo.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, can you confirm the transition level for us?
Yeah, sure, flight level 100.
Flight level 100, thanks. The ATIS says not determined, by the way. Okay, so low 100 is in. Perfect. So, Changpia, where do you line up with the runway since there is an offset? Basically, once we're visual. Nikolai, I hope your question about the did I correct the transition level has just been answered. Narix, what do I think about deploying the gear down just after glide slope capture as according to checklist for the 700? Yeah, I do agree it is pretty early. The Boeing SOPs basically tell you to do that, but I'm not aware of any airline that would actually be doing it. They've all adjusted it because you're just wasting so much fuel with it. It does happen from time to time that we get a reduced to final approach speed instruction by air traffic control at like 12 miles out or so. That uses 100 kilos more fuel than if we did our standard low drag approach to 4 miles. So that is an incredible extra fuel usage. So that's what I think about it. Yep, it is pretty widespread in flight simulation to tell you to do that, but it is nothing that airlines would actually be doing. I mean, for sure you are going to find some airline that does it.
200 or greater.
But you get the general idea.
162 Bravo Romeo.
Until 10 miles final.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I said. Did my mic cut out?
That sounded a little bit weird.
Right, somebody there said that air traffic control is a little loud when I'm talking. I've turned them down a bit.
Transition level is 110 and now descend 10,000 feet, QNH 1019.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, descend 10,000 feet, QNH 1019, transition level 110, thank you. Okay, set.
Austrian 66 in your uniform,
check.
you normal rate.
Normal rate, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Set altimeter 1019. And yeah, we can correct that or we can let it be, doesn't matter.
For 150 inbound Ostov.
Track required, yeah, let's help it a bit.
Bravo 147 Innsbruck, radar good evening for information, Bravo, expect localization. Is that for runway 08, Transavia 147?
Cisco, yes, the auto brake is supposed to be on max.
Okay,
that's because of our performance calculation. The onboard performance tool simply determined that we can't land with anything less than max. Here it is for you again. So this says anything up to auto brake 3 is not possible, we'd overshoot the runway, so we've got to use auto brake max. I mean, the performance tool is very conservative, so chances are that we will in the end be able to make it anyway. But if that's the figures, then that's the figures. Alright, reducing our speed to 220 knots here because we will be entering airspace class Echo in a moment. So again, there can be VFR traffic. And the weather is really nice outside, so chances are that there will actually be some VFR traffic flying around. First of all, we'll seat the passengers. Should have done that earlier anyway. But yeah, we'll just have to be a little bit careful. Watch out a little bit here.
166 in your uniform, descent 9,500 feet, cleared localized east approach.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, descent 9,500 feet, cleared localized east approach. Okay, we'll put the vertical situation to play on.
Actually,
I think I'm going to use it on my side as well. Because it does provide some very good information on approaches like this.
DME, Transavia 147.
First of all, we see the terrain. We can see it just down here, slowly coming up. So that is really useful. And it does help us with our energy management as well. When we have to slow the airplane down, we see a green circle on the white line over here. That green circle is basically telling us where we are going to reach the target speed that we've set on the mode control panel. Safe here. Transition altitude is 10,000 at Innsbruck. I never saw a transition level at the same value, at least 1,000 above. Does that happen in real life? Yeah. Well, it shouldn't happen because there should be at least 1,000 feet in the transition layer. But in some countries it does happen. Especially when you're going to the Caribbean. Over there you have many fields where transition altitude may equal transition level. Now, Alex, I'm using the mouse to look around. Occasionally I'm using my joystick's coolie head, but that's only if I don't have any free hands.
166 in the uniform, speed 200 until 10 miles.
Austrian 660 uniform, speed 200 until 10 miles. Okay, he wants us to reduce our speed already, so 200 knots it is. Let's go flaps 1, help it a little bit with the deceleration.
Transavia 147, turn left heading 110.
Left heading 110, Transavia 110.
Okay, localizer is alive, and we are within 25 miles, so localizer and wallop capture. And it probably needs a bit more help slowing down, so flaps 5. Track required, yep, it's getting that just as we speak. So, approaching descent. That's 3,300 feet, Vienna path speed intervent. He wants to maintain 200, so we'll dial that one in. Okay, temp checks real quick as well. Coming to 10 minutes to landing. So, fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, the lights are coming on, angle of bank 25, air condition and pressurization 3.4 descending set, fast notes on, recall checked, 1 to 1.5 be selected, 10 minutes given, touch checks complete.
2500.
Terrain noted. Okay, don't need the VSD anymore, we can see everything. From 10 miles on, we can then use the approach mode to get us down. But outside 10 miles, the glide slope can be unreliable in Innsbruck, so we are using VNAV right now to follow the path on our way down.
From 66 in your uniform, contact Innsbruck Tower 120.1, ciao.
120.1, Austrian 66 in your uniform, tschüss. Innsbruck Tower low, Austrian 66 in your uniform, localizer in the east, runway 26.
Austrian 66 in their uniform, Innsbruck Tower, good evening. Expect runway 26, free speed.
Runway 26, free speed, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Okay.
Austrian 66 in their uniform, wind check 280 degrees, 18 knots, caution, wind shear has been reported in the departure sector of 26.
Austrian 66 in your uniform, roger. We don't have any of that wind quite yet, still wind calm up here, so we are going to get quite a positive wind shear when we get down. Let's help our airplane a bit and get the speed brake out so that we can get our speed down. And we are entering the 10 miles approach armed. Light slope capture. And that is 9,500 feet set. So now I've got the trouble to slow the airplane down since we're on a 3.8 degree descent path. The one thing we can do, flaps 10, that is going to extend the leading edge flaps, as you can see up here, those devices up here. And here we have them down. And that is giving us a lot of extra drag. You can see now the speed is coming down fairly good.
Portugal 931, taxi holding point runway 26 via Bravo, QNH 101.
Okay, then quick frisk and approach checklist. Frequency of 111.1, the rings are around runway 26, 10-4, ident, Oscar Echo Victor, stand for instrument set, course 254.
18 knots, runway 26, clear to net.
Runway 26, clear to net, Austrian 66 in your uniform. Okay, approach checklist. Altimeter instruments, set cross checked, approach rates checked and set, approach checklist complete.
2500.
Sure, I noted. Okay, let's extend the landing gear, because we still have our visual segment at the end. So, gear down and flaps 15. And we have landing clearance. Landing checklist. Start switches, continuous. Recall, checked, speed brake, and green light, landing gear down to green, auto brake max, and flaps 30. Speed check, flaps 30. So they have wind shear reported, we'll take the speed,
Portugal
141.
has issues with the simulated
30 green lights, landing lights on, landing check is complete.
Number
Checked.
162 Bravo, runway hold position, you are taxiing to the direction of the runway.
Sorry?
Continue.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you're still on the general aviation apron.
Yeah, no, I'm just general aviation apron now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, autopilot disconnect, recycle flight directors. So we are still waiting for that wind to come in.
Innsbruck Tower, Austrian 4 Victor Tango, Patron. Information Bravo requesting Alpha to Samos.
Austin 4 Victor Tango, Innsbruck Tower, good evening.
Approaching
Samos,
2,
OBD4 hotel departure out of
Oh, that terrain warning is definitely incorrect. Thank you, PMDG. Gone for good.
Clear to destination Samos via OBD for hotel departure. Initial climb, flight level 120, squawk 4673. Austrian 4 Victor Tango.
So now the wind is picking up. Here we go.
Austin 4 Victor Tango, read back correct.
Oh, we are probably gonna get glide slope warning shortly. Yep. But that can be ignored because this one is actually not reliable. In real life, I'd ask the first officer to deselect the ILS frequencies right now to avoid that from happening.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
So, speed brake up, thrust goes normal. With maximum reverse, 100 knots. Okay, manual brakes. Idle reverse, 80 knots past. Yeah, that's what I meant when I said the performance tool is very, very careful. Now, you may think the performance tool gives you bullshit numbers, but it's actually similar to the real one. The real one gives you very similar numbers. That's just how careful our approach planning is. Okay. So the wind picked up literally a couple hundred feet above the ground. We can see it on the windsock over here. That's a strong wind.
Austin 66 India uniform via Alpha to the apron, stand of your choice. Bye bye.
Austrian 66 India uniform via Alpha to the apron, stand of choice. See you later. So, welcome to Innsbruck, everyone. Nope, that's the one I wanted to hit.
Yeah, Portugal 931, continue taxi, runway 26.
Yeah, Portugal 931, line up and backtrack.
So that's one company aircraft that's just pushed back
Line
over
up and
there.
backtrack, runway 26. Yeah, Portugal 931. Austrian 4 Victor Tango, request push and stop.
Austrian 4 Victor Tango, stand by, traffic behind, I'll call you back shortly.
Okay, I guess once he starts the taxi... So you just gotta be careful that somebody else wants to push as well. I think it was the Austrian, so probably the Austrian behind the TUI over there.
Transport, please.
Start the APU.
Austrian 3521 Innsbruck Tower, good evening. Cleared Frankfurt via the Mokti 3 hotel departure out of runway 26. Climb initial flight level 160, squawk 1000.
Cleared to Frankfurt via runway 26, Mokti 3 hotel departure. Climbing initially flight level 160, squawk 1000 for Austrian 3521.
Austrian 3521, read back correct.
Right, I'll turn that traffic control down a little bit for you guys now, so that they don't annoy us.
Portugal 931, wind 290 degrees and 12 knots, runway 26, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 26, yeah, Portugal.
You know what, we'll take the easy way, we'll just park over here. I think in my entire flight sim career I've always parked right in front of the terminal building, so let's do something different for a chance. And we've reached 3 minutes, engine 2 shut down. Yes, even that half a kilo of fuel that we're saving right now counts. And that's it. Right, parking brake set. We've got 2 blue and 1 red. That's the engine's dead. So, waiting for 20% N2, that's our indication to turn off the anti-collision lights. And then we can read the checklists and prepare our turnaround for a flight back towards Vienna. And that's 20%. So, transit shutdown checklist. We'll put the APU bleed on. It's 22 degrees here in Innsbruck, but still, that's warm, especially with the sun shining onto the airplane. It is gonna get hot real quick in here. So, transit shutdown checklist. Electrical on the APU, fast modes off, pro beat off, anti-ice off, voice recorder on, air complex auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed on, exterior lights set, start switches off, water brakes off, speed brake, down attend, flaps up to light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder, 2 gun standby, CBR circuit breaker in, and the cockpit doors unlocked. That's the transit shutdown checklist complete. So let's go ahead with the turnaround. We'll get ourselves the ground power. And for the fuel we have 5,080 kilos on board. That should hopefully be enough that we don't need...
And 2 Mike kilo, any estimate when you are able to taxi?
It should hopefully be enough so that we don't need our fuel truck. That we can just go back on the fuel that we have. But we're gonna find out about that in a moment.
Inspector, here is Austrian 3521, ready for push and stop.
Austrian 3521, push and stop.
Okay, so time to set up a new flight. It's gonna be from Innsbruck towards Vienna. I'm just searching for real life routing over here.
Austrian 3521, push and start approved, face east.
And that is actually pretty easy routing. I'm just gonna set up my Simri flight plan as we speak. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, please put them in right now, and I'll try to answer as many as possible while we have time during the turnaround.
Pushback Tower, good evening again. Transavia 68 Victor, information Charlie present clearance to Rotterdam.
Air Portugal 931, contact Innsbruck radar 128.975, bye-bye.
128.975, Air Portugal 931, thank you, bye-bye.
Transavia 68 Victor, Innsbruck Tower, good evening. Cleared Rotterdam via Mokti 3 hotel departure out of runway 26. Climb initial flight level 160, squawk 1000.
Clear to destination, Mokti.
We're gonna have full flight once again.
Runway 26, climb initially flight level 1.
It's gonna be 117 passengers this time and 19...
Transavia 68 Victor, read back correct.
Sorry, 1.9 tons of cargo over there. Actually, an interesting routing there.
Are you able to taxi out on your left side?
It's simply going from Obedi direct to Uptown and then onto the arrival. Now that is the real life routing over here, so I'm just going to file it. Let's see what the air traffic controllers are going to have to say about it.
Victor Tango Roger, taxi holding point runway 26 via Bravo, KNH 1019.
In the meantime, you guys can start unloading and you can start the deboarding over here.
Okay, so then call me when you're ready, please.
Austrian for Victor Tango.
Alright, so the new flight plan is finished, and here we have it. Austrian 904, going from Innsbruck towards Vienna. The required fuel is 4,260 kilograms. We have 5,080 on board, so we don't need to refuel over here.
Transavia 147.
And for the return flight then, the weather over at Vienna is CAV OK, stays CAV OK. And only tomorrow evening they are going to get some thunderstorms over there, so the weather is all good. Just like at our alternate Bratislava, we have very good weather as well.
Caution for the wind shear and place alarm.
Alright, so let's start our setup then. At the same moment you guys can start unloading the cargo as well. So we're in Innsbruck, request flight plan, and it's gonna be towards
good evening. Cleared München via the Kogol for hotel departure. Climb initially
the Austrian 904.
1000 feet. KNH
now we've just gotta wait. Here we are, route uplink ready, load. And on the second FMC I'm handling my ground handling. So ground power can go on, saves a little bit of APU fuel usage. However, we are going to keep the APU on because we want to keep our cabin nice and cool. So runway 26, not sure which departure we're gonna get, so I'm just not gonna enter any. And for Vienna, I left runway 16 with the Uptown 1 whiskey arrival. And that is actually gonna lead us towards Ballard. So we'll take the Ballard 5 Lima arrival. Cost 30 and the reserve fuel is just 1.7 tons because our alternate is just around the corner as well. 50.1 zero fuel weight, and we're planned at flight level 290. That's the same that the real life flight I looked up had also been planned at. Alright, now comes the interesting part. Let's have a look at the engine out SID. I'm sure that many of you have seen my live stream with an engine failure on the takeoff here in Innsbruck. So if you've seen that, then you will be very familiar with what's to come on this one. So we've got Oscar Echo Victor, and we'll go straight at to 2.5 miles off that one.
Innsbruck.
Then...
Austin 2 Mike Kilo, I'm here. Sorry for the delay,
Whiskey India 006.
Request taxi, please.
Austin 2 Mike Kilo, Roger. Taxi
followed by Whiskey India 007.
737.
Then we'll make a left turn back to 006.
The holding point.
Then Whiskey India 005.
Yeah, Bravo behind the company. Boeing 737.
Whiskey India 103.
Here is Ocean Patron, ready for taxi.
And Whiskey India 002.
3521, taxi holding point runway 26 via Bravo, QNH 1019.
Thereafter we'll go to Rotterdam. So, quick look at our engine out SID for those of you who have not seen the live stream on it. Basically,
Victor Tango is ready for Texas.
we just do it like this.
Awesome for Victor Tango, behind the company Airbus A320.
Oh, and you should be showing me my Oscar Echo Victor right
taxi
now.
holding point runway 26 via Bravo.
Behind the company,
Here we are.
Airbus, taxi to...
So for the engine outset, we go straight ahead to the 5.2 miles from the ILS. Then it's going to be a right-hand turn towards the Whiskey India points over here. A left turn back, and then we basically proceed like this all the way through the valley and climb to at least, let's say, 13,000 feet. Or actually 15,000 feet. That's going to keep us safe above everything. And then, of course, take Obedi back on. Alright, cool. So that's pretty much the routing that we intend to fly today. Apart from that, quick flight deck setup, it's basically not a lot that we have to do here really. Passengers are out, so the fasten belt signs can go back on. And I think we can actually start boarding again already. So you guys can send away the old passengers.
Backtrack runway 26.
Planning on backtrack runway 26.
We can already get new cards here, release the old ones. It's going to be 900 kilos in the front hold, and it's going to be 1000 kilos in the aft hold. So, quick look around then while we have the time here. Turnaround really can be done pretty fast in this airplane, but it's usually not the pilots that are limiting on turnaround. Here's our new luggage coming. Still waiting for the passenger bus to arrive.
903.
Austin 903, Innsbruck Tower, good evening. Expect runway 26, wind 290 degrees and 12 knots.
Expect runway 26.
So they're connecting the cards.
Austin 2 Mike Kilo, do you require backtrack?
Yes, require backtrack, Austin 2 Mike Kilo.
Roger. Austin 3521, wind 290 degrees and 12 knots, runway 26, cleared for takeoff.
So, just waiting for the ground cars to get next.
What is that? Clear for takeoff runway 26 and caution for wind shear for Austrian Chicago.
Yeah, very good question there. What's the procedure for wind shear and short final? Continue landing or go around? Well, it's always go around. If air traffic control tells you that there is if ATC tells you that there is wind shear reported, you can continue. But the moment your predictive wind shear system reacts with wind shear reported, it's a go around, for which you can follow the normal go around procedure. And when the actual weather radar gives you the two-tone siren followed by wind shear, so do you read wind shear? Then you've got to execute the wind shear escape maneuver. Right, so you guys start the loading up here. You get a new passenger bus as well.
Delta Lima Whiskey, read back correct. Startup is approved. Report ready for taxi.
And I think we can turn the terrain we can turn the terrain warning system on again as well. For the takeoff, hopefully it's gonna shut up and not give us any nonsense warnings.
68 Victor, set squawk 1000, push and start approved, face east.
Setting squawk 1000, push and start approved, face east, reservoir 68 Victor.
So I told you earlier on that we would try the easy CPDLC system. So
35 to 1, squawk 1
let's give this one another try and see if we can, and let's see if the guys at Innsbruck actually have a PDC system at all. So we'll request PDC from Innsbruck,
caution wind shear has been reported,
and we are on no stand whatsoever. We'll just put not applicable in here. And for the ATIS we have information. What's that? Charlie. Right, send. Let's see if we're gonna get anything. So, somebody asked earlier on if the 737 is capable of CPDLC. The real one is, basically you would press the menu button and then down here you have the downlink menu from which you can access all those functions. However, the PMDG is currently not. We are waiting for Asobo to make some changes there that would hopefully enable it, but we'll have to see what's going to happen on that. So those sounds you just heard basically are from Easy CPDLC telling us that we do have a message here. So let's have a look. And there's our clearance. Now let's quickly start the boarding before we go to deal with that, so that we actually get going back towards Vienna. So over here, cleared to Vienna via Obedi 4 Hotel, runway 26.
Expect runway 26.
So departure 26. And Obedi 4 Hotel is actually not in our database. That's gonna make it fun. That means we'll have to hand fly it. Alright. Let's see if we've got a chart for that. Before we confirm it with ATC, let's check if we're actually able to execute it. So, flight, new, from Simbrief, yes. Got no BD3 Juliet here. That's all we have, it seems. Runway 26. Yeah, BD3 Juliet seems to be all that we have available. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it says Obedi 4 Hotel. Interesting. So there's probably a Navigraph error in the database here. That's why we don't have a SID. Anyway, then, for initial climate, refer to charge 10-3 or 10-3 Alpha. Okay, so SID 10-3 Alpha, runway 26, initial departures. Ah, so it's basically okay, so that's gonna be an interesting one. We'll help a little bit here, and we're gonna have to program it for as good as we can. Basically, we're going ahead to 1.2 DME from Oscar Echo Victor. So let's put that one in the fixed page as well. 1.2 DME. That's a right-hand turn till 3.3 DME. So loads of information in the fixed page there. Then left turn 065 to Romeo Uniform Mike. You can put that in here. From there it's via Oscar Echo Juliet. That's ILS, Oscar Echo Juliet. And then we've got a 7 DME point, and from there we'll fly outbound from we'll fly across Rattenberg and then back towards Rattenberg. Okay, that's a very interesting set. This is going to be a fun one.
To the stand of the top. Okay.
So we'll take Oscar Echo Juliet 063-7, and the rest of it we'll actually have to just do ourselves then. Actually, what does it say down here? Climb visually on runway track, turn right, continue 9500 using backcourse, then turn left to Rattenberg. Okay. So we'll check that, and then we go towards Rattenberg, because we will have the SID by the, or we will have the altitude by the moment we get there. That's the 737 is such a good climb performance, we don't have to worry about that at all.
Wind shear reported.
Okay, so then from Rattenberg it's 092 outbound direct to Obedi. And we have that one in here. Okay. So at Rattenberg we'll put a 9,500 above restriction in. And that's pretty much it then. Okay. Cool. So then let's go ahead to a route check. We're going Lima Oscar Whiskey India to Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey, Alpha Uniform Alpha 904. The routing is via Obedi direct upturn, and in here we have Obedi to upturn, upturn arrival, upturn bomb whiskey, with a ground distance 278 versus 317. That difference is because we have the...
Affirmative, Austrian 4 Victor Tango.
That's because we have the arrival transition in, which the FMC doesn't know about. 3.1 remaining, we need 1.7, so we have plenty of fuel on our arrival.
60 miles.
So, time ATC is 1559, 1019, reading 1900, MFRA 3300, flight directors are on and the standby instrument set. Left to takeoff on runway 26, flaps probably 1, noise abatement 1, or is it noise abatement 1? Let's check real quick what that actually is. Yeah, it's noise abatement 1. That's kinda expected though. Okay, EOSIT, straight at 2.5 miles from the ILS, and then we are going to follow the waypoints. So, Whiskey India 006, right turn 007, left back to 006, then 005, 103, 002, and then on to Rattenberg to hold. So that's basically going out into the valley and then going back through the valley towards our departure field. Emergency briefing is as we had it. Then let's have a look at our taxi. So we'll get rid of that one. Right, so let's have a look at our taxi. It's basically Pushback, Bravo, and we'll see if we can take intersection Bravo or if we'll have to backtrack. But the performance tool is going to tell us about that by the time we get there. Okay, what else are we going to do then? For the SID, we'll fly visually to 1.2 DME from Oscar Echo Victor. That one's in the FMC over here, 1.2 DME. Then right 272 until 3.3 DME, that's in here. And then it's a left turn onto 065 inbound to Romeo Uniform Mike. We've put that on the legs page. And that is in here, Romeo Uniform Mike. From there on we'll proceed towards Oscar Echo Juliet. And then on 063 outbound Oscar Echo Juliet until 7 miles. That's above 6,000. Actually, we can insert those restrictions straight away. Oscar Echo Juliet above 4.8, and then the 7 mile point above 6,700. Alright, all of that is in, and thereafter to Rattenberg above 9,500, and from there on we're going to join the, where is it? Wrong button. Here we are. From there we'll join the Obedi 4 hotel, which is Rattenberg towards Obedi. SIDS crossing airspace class Echo up to level 125. So we will limit our airspeed to 220 knots until flight level 130. Alright, initial climb clearance by ATC, and actually we can just have a look at that ATC clearance as well, since we've gotten it already. So, here it is. Then, via Obedi 4 Hotel, Romeo 26, climb flight level 120.
Xavier 768, reduce to final approach speed, expect leg clearance.
That is flight level 120, and Squawk 1000, QNH 1019, report ready on 120.1. We're gonna accept this.
Delta November Foxtrot, left on Alpha, to the apron.
That's basically it. So Squawk, they said it's gonna be 1000, that's in. So we have flight level 120, the Obedi 4 Hotel with the given restrictions. And
Easy 7 on Papa, fully established.
Squawk 1000. So that is pretty much all correct.
Good evening, expect 26.
So now we're getting one more message from the PDC system over here, and that is basically just gonna say clearance confirmed. Okay. So that's basically how the PDC works. Would be very nice to see that implemented in the aircraft, but I'm afraid we do currently not have it. And P, what sound does the system make in real life? Well, it's that classical ding-dong message that you probably know from CPDLC and so on. And yeah, since weather radar is not yet implemented, what does the screen look like if you have bad weather in the valley? Does it prefer terrain over weather or the other way around? Well, it's going to show you what you select. So when you select the weather radar, then it's just going to show you black, just like in the real one, by the way. It's going to show you what you select, unless you are actually about to crash into the terrain. Then as part of the terrain awareness system, it's going to pull up the terrain display for you. And P, how would a wind shear impact you if you're forced to land because, let's say, you get a warning at 20 feet while flaring? Well, if I'm totally honest with you, you are never forced to land until you are down with the thrust reverser deployed. Now at 20 feet, that's a very good call. To be honest, if the speed is under control, I'd probably bang it into the ground. But, you know, that really comes down to the commander's discretion then. So the pilot will have to decide on that. And Sesko, what's the meaning of cost index? I'm gonna do a separate video on that, okay? Alright, so, we've talked about all this. Our departure briefing is complete. Then let's do the transit before start checklist. Gear pins. 1 to 3 removed. Oxygen. Test 100%. Yaw damper on. Fuel. We need 4,300. We have 4,000 and... sorry, we have 5,060 with 4 pumps on. Fasten belts on. Window heat on. Air compressed. Back starter bleeds on. And... set, press smoke selector, auto, instruments, cross check, on brake, RTO, speed brake, down detent, parking brake set, start from cutout switch is normal, radius radar and transponder, set standby, rotor aileron trims, 3 and 0, takeoff briefing discussed, and holding at the PA. So let's go ahead then and do our takeoff performance calculations. So for those I'm going to give you the OPT again here. So we are going to reset the current aircraft, takeoff dispatch, and then we're at Innsbruck, runway 26. We'll take intersection Bravo if we can, and the runway is dry by now, we can visually confirm that. Wind 280 at 16, temperature is 21 and QNH 1019. Optimum, auto off. Let's see what our performance limiting weight here is, 58.4. So, our weight now is 55.5. So, 55,500. Calculate, and it wants to give us reduced 22k, but let's actually go full 22k to give us a little bit more of a safety margin here. 93.6, and that matches. So it's a flap 5 takeoff, optimum, trim 6.1, and the speeds we'll take from the FMC once again to the V2 of 130 knots up here. Okay, so 6 units of trim is in. I'm afraid 2907.
ILS runway 26, confirm your situation.
So, 2907. Perfect, that's pretty much all we need.
On Indian traffic line up and wait 6 left behind the back track approved.
Then let's complete our checklist. PA, complete. FMC CDU is set. N1 IS box, automatic. full 22k, speeds to 12330 set, step trim 6.1 set, performance weight balance, sign send, phones,
Speed 150
off,
knots,
EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door, locked, doors closed, passengers seated. That's the before start checklist complete down to the line. So, we don't need the ground power anymore. Chocks can go as well. Then let's get ourselves a pushback truck.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead, flight deck. We will be ready shortly. Roger.
Innsbruck Tower Low, Austrian 904 with PDC info Bravo request, pushback and startup.
Austrian 904, Innsbruck Tower, servus again, push and start approved, face east.
Push and start approved, face east, Austrian 904. Okay, so the nose is going to the west.
Bavaria 68 Victor, wind 290 degrees, 1 to
below the
north,
line,
clear for
backs
takeoff,
off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead, flight deck. We are ready for pushback and engine start. Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Okay, so we are ready.
Parking brake released. Pushing back.
So, off block at 09. We'll actually keep the vertical situation display on the first officer's side, because it is going to give us some information on the
start your engines at your discretion.
Roger. So, starting engine 2. Clear on the left side there. N2, oil pressure, N1. Valves are moving and open. Stop our pushback here. That's close enough to the line.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Good evening,
parking brakes set. Roger. Okay, door bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right hand side with the pin. Thanks. And you can disconnect and go to hand signals. Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Okay, starter cutout, monitor number 2.
Isolating
Isolating it back and starting number 1.
26 clear to land.
And 2463, number 2 is stable.
Bavaria 68 Victor, contact Innsbruck radar 128 975, bye bye.
128 975, transact 68 Victor, thank you, bye bye.
And 2, all press, and 1. That's the valves in transit, and the valves open. Square, do you ever use pen and paper to write down ATC instructions? If it's short instructions, we just write them in the scratch pad. If it's something long, we'll write them on the EFB. Start a cutout, monitor 1, 2, 4, 6, 3, number 1 stable. Okay, we have 2 good engine starts, clear disconnect, clear signal on the right hand side with the pin, and have a good day, bye bye. So, this time it's flap 5 again. Flight controls, up, down, left, right, right.
Wind 290 degrees, 1 to knots, runway 26, clear to land.
MP before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, cockpit on, ATRs off, air conditioning, flex auto bleeds on, isolation mode, auto, flaps 5 required, 5 selected and green light, step trim 6.1 required set, start leave is idle detent, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist is complete.
Bavaria 7 made on the apron information Charlie on board for the current destination Vienna.
Bavaria 768 cleared Vienna via the Rattenberg 1 Romeo departure.
Yeah, if the first officer pilot fly and you enter bad weather conditions, does the captain take over or watch the FO try to screw up? Well, the FO is a competent pilot who is perfectly going to be able to fly in those conditions. But if the captain, under any circumstances, deems that he wants to take over, then he can do that, of course. Austrian 904, request taxi.
Austrian 904, taxi rolling for number 26 via Bravo, QNH 1019.
Austrian 904, QNH 1019, taxi rolling for number 26 via Bravo, and we will not need to backtrack.
Thank you.
Okay. So, config is checked, clear left and right, off we go.
Innsbruck Tower, good evening, expect runway 26, current wind.
So the taxi is clear, let's do the takeoff review. It's config. Oh, the before takeoff checklist I meant. Config check, flaps 5 green light, strap trim 6.2 sets, takeoff briefing. Left seat takeoff, runway 26, flaps 5, NADP 1s, PAX auto blinks on, anti-ice off, takeoff speeds 21230 set, and the sit straight at 1.2 miles, then a right turn onto 274 until 3.3 miles, and we're going to follow that until we do a left-hand turn towards Romeo Uniform Mike, and then from Romeo Uniform Mike we'll continue up our 5 magenta line.
290 degrees, 12 knots, runway 26, clear to land.
Okay, we still got that small aircraft in front of us here.
Bavaria 90 Victor, wind 290 degrees, 12 knots, runway 26, clear to land.
Runway 26, clear to land, Bavaria 90 Victor.
Bavaria 308 via Alpha to the apron, stand of your choice, bye bye.
Let's taxi up front a little bit then, just keep clear of the apron behind.
Turkish 6 Hotel Alpha cleared Amsterdam by the Mokdi pre-hotel departure out of runway 26. Clamp initially flight.
Okay, Jositz is straight at 2.5 miles, right turn out via the Whiskey India points, and then left turn throughout the valley, climbing 150 above the highest MSA.
4675 Turkish.
Yeah, apart from that, no specials. Briefing reviewed.
Turkish
And the cabin
correct.
is secure before takeoff track is complete. So,
Delta Lima Whiskey behind landing.
That's our inbound.
Runway 26 behind.
Delta Lima Whiskey behind landing aircraft line up runway 26 straight behind.
So, show me a good landing, Transavia. Right on the marker. Positive, but right on the marker. That's exactly a good landing. Very good. So let's try not to blow the apron away. Use minimum thrust to get rolling here.
Delta Lima Whiskey, wind 280 degrees and 16 knots, runway 26 clear for takeoff.
So he's going.
Transavia 90 Victor via Alpha to the apron stand.
Let's see if he lines up straight away. It might have to be if that small aircraft is flying the same sit that we do, then it might very well be that we'll have to wait quite a while, because the tower will have to assure separation between us and them. And these guys can go slow, I can tell you. So he's airborne. Is there anybody on arrival? At least none that I can see, which mustn't mean a lot, of course.
9046, wind 280 degrees and 16 knots, runway 26 clear to land.
He's got an inbound first, so it's gonna take a small while.
Transavia 78 is ready for startup, no push required.
Transavia 768, thank you, startup is approved.
Mikolai, too high on final, just change your altimeter. Mikolai, you're Polish, aren't you? So you're allowed to say that. For those of you who don't know what that comment is about, I think like 10 years ago, a jet with like the whole Polish government on board crashed with, I believe, everybody dead, because the pilots were approaching the minimums, of course, military governmental plane, and they really wanted to make that destination, They approached the minimums but couldn't see the runway, so what they did is to change the altimeter setting to make the altimeter reach a higher altitude, and they descended below the minimum with that, just to delay the minimum call from the system. And the result is that they hit the treetops, and everybody, including the Polish president and the major part of the government, was dead afterwards.
Delta Lima Whiskey, contact Innsbruck radar 128 975. Bye-bye.
So that's what he's referring to there.
975, Delta Lima Whiskey, goodbye.
And Nikolai, I'm using the Alpha India Group model matching. Yeah, I heard pilots need additional training for Innsbruck. Does that also count for the first officer? Yes, of course. The first officer and the captain always get the same training. Basically...
Austrian 904, line up and wait runway 26.
Austrian 904, line for wait runway 26. Okay, here we go. But basically, I'll just finish up on that, okay? First officer and captain have the same training and a similar skill set. The only difference is that the captain has more experience. Okay? I just want to be absolutely clear about that.
109 by Bravo to runway 26, Transavia.
Right then, before takeoff checks below the line. MCP, set, transponder, TSRA, strobe lights on and holding there. The right is clear. And I have no idea why they have two windsocks here. And the left is clear as well.
Lufthansa 946, taxi via Alpha to the apron, stand off the toes. Bye-bye.
So we'll take as much runway as we can. I told them we won't backtrack though, so we'll line up straight here.
On runway 26.
Yep, that's correct.
Austrian 904, wind 280 degrees, 16 knots, runway 26, cleared for takeoff.
Austrian 904, runway 26, cleared for takeoff. Okay. Landing lights on before takeoff check is complete. Timing. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal.
80 knots.
Checked.
V1 rotate.
Transavia 768,
Drop.
line up and wait runway 26, backtrack approved.
Watch your backtrack approved, line up at wait runway 26, Transavia 768.
Heading select. 1.2 miles, right, 274. Okay, at 4,900 we can accelerate.
Turkish 6 Hotel Alpha, approach on approved, face east.
Let's actually take it into autopilot. And fuck up.
Austrian 904, contact Innsbruck radar 128 Osman 975, bye-bye.
128 Osman 975, Austrian 904, bye. Okay, 3.3 miles, we'll start the left-hand turn towards Romeo Uniform Mike. Now we can contact departure. Innsbruck radar low, Austrian 904, passing 6,500, climbing 120 on the Obedi for hotel.
So 904 Innsbruck radar hat auch nochmal, climb level 160.
Climb level 160, Austrian 904. Set, 160 checked, flaps up. Okay, set standard, passing 7, climbing 160.
Golf Alpha Bravo 42, descent flight level 150.
Flaps up, no lights.
Descent 150, Golf Alpha Bravo 42.
Okay. Vienna off the takeoff checklist. And we'll keep the crew seated until we are out of the valley. So, Dark Romeo uniform Mike. That's on-off available. On-off. So, off the takeoff checks then. Air conditioner pressurization, 3.2, climbing set. Altimeters. In standard, passing 98, climbing 160. Off the takeoff checklist complete. And we can do the 10 check straight away as well. Passengers will stay in for now. Right, so fuel balance, 4 pumps, lights off, APU off, air cannon press, 4.0 climbing and set, fasten belts on, recall check, 21.5 monitoring, 10 checks complete. Alright, so right over at Innsbruck right now. Oops, sorry guys, hit the microphone there. Passing 130, now we can accelerate. I still have to get used to having that black microphone stand in front of me, where I used to have my Warthog HOTAS. That kind of looks like, you know, I want to press the switch on my HOTAS and I'm reaching for the microphone. I gotta get used to that, so sorry if you hear some bumps every now and then. Right, now we're going towards Oscar Echo Juliet. Let's actually tune that. It's 109.7.
Banana 04, proceed direct to BD.
Austrian Banana 04, direct to BD.
Delta Lima Whiskey, proceed visually direct to Golf.
To BD.
Okay, Takeoff Bravo Lima Whiskey, direct visually to
Yeah, there it is. On-off available and on-off. Vertical speed.
Radar, Servus, Transavia
10,000
78, passing 6000 for flight level 120, Rattenbach 1 for your departure.
1 to go.
Transavia 768, wind radar, correction, input radar identified. Hello, climb flight level 160.
Flight level 160, Transavia 78.
Hey Nikolai, I am using my yoke, but on the joystick I just got a couple of buttons assigned, which I'm sometimes using for a quick access. So that's why I'm sometimes reaching for the joystick. But as primary means to steer the aircraft, I'm actually using the Thrustmaster Boeing yoke. So yeah, we are more or less clear of all those clouds in here.
Golf Alpha Bravo 42, descent 10,000 feet, QNH from 019.
Descent 10,000 feet, QNH 1019.
So those are probably the CBs they had previously. They probably just died down already, lost their energy, and they basically just look like Tower and Cumulus right now. Even though it's usually the other way around, that you have Tower and Cumulus turning into CBs. But well, I guess we can just put it down to Microsoft Flight Simulator weather logic. Anyway, once we pass these, we can release our cabin crew, so that they can start doing their service. The flight itself is short enough, so lots of things to do here.
Radar, dobry wieczór. Information Delta correct. Expect localizer DME east approach, kit LM1 Alpha arrival.
LM1 Alpha, and can you confirm localizer DME east, northwest, Aztec 017?
Aztec 017, unfortunately, yes.
Alright, so we're clear.
Okay, no problem, Aztec 017.
Cabin crews released. Let's wait like 2 or 3 minutes before we locked. That's probably
Banana
first.
04, contact Innsbruck radar. Contact in radar 126.275, ciao.
126.275, Austrian 904, cheers.
Delta Lima Whiskey, contact.
Oh, 26275. Wien radar low, Austrian 904, level 160 in mod Obedi.
Austrian 904, Wien radar, contact Servus. Climb level 290.
I'm level 290, Austrian 904. Alright, that's set. 290 checked. Vienna. And we have 290 once, twice, and 3 times. Monitoring 1 to 1.5. Once we're established in the climb then, without chances for just this happening, where the airplane just pulled up a little bit and thereby lost a couple of G-forces. Once the chances for that are over, we're gonna release the passengers. So basically now. Right, that's passengers out.
Green radar, good evening, during 284.
Yeah, do I also fly small planes for fun or hobby in real life? Or is the 737 enough fun? No, I do fly these things. Occasionally I do fly single engine pistons.
Continue descent over
in real life, but really not a lot.
Continue descent 310 during 284.
Airplane 4, Victor Tango, no further ATC, monitor Unicom, bye bye.
Understood, Unicom, Austrian 4, Victor Tango, Servus.
Airplane 1337, nothing further, monitor Unicom, bye bye.
Unicom, Austrian 137, thanks for your service and goodbye.
Wien radar, Servus, Transavia 768, Innsbruck, Rattenberg, flight over 160.
Transavia 768, Wien radar, contact, expect further climb up the Rattenberg.
Copy that, 768.
Wien radar, good evening, fraction 176, flight level 120, descending flight level 90, inbound debug.
Fraction 1876, radar contact level 115, descent 9000 by QNH, Salzburg 1016, expect LS 15.
Expect LS 15, QNH 1016, fraction 176.
During 284, descent level 230, expect ILS 28 right.
Peter, hello to Fallon, Ohio. Never heard of this city before, but I'm gonna check it out. And yeah, any ferried routes or destinations.
Austrian 904, direct Nixie, cleared Uptown 1 Whiskey.
Austrian 904, cleared Uptown 1 Whiskey, direct to Nixie. Okay, that's direct to Nixie. Straight ahead, very nice. Execute. And Ernaving. So favorite routes? I'm being asked that question a lot, and to be honest, well, I do like the Canary Islands, because you can do very nice visual approaches down there. Also like Palermo, or Palermo, depending on how you want to pronounce it. There's a lot of nice routes that I like, so I don't really want to mention any particular one here, because it would mean that I would leave out another one, and that would kind of be unfair, wouldn't it? Alright, so let's actually have a look at our arrival into Vienna already. We're still climbing right now, but we can see our top of descent approaching there already. So, Vienna. The weather report there, It's ATIS information Victor at 1850. Arrival runway 16, departure runway 11. All aircraft departing blah blah, that's not interesting for us. Transition level 110. Oh, it's giving us quite a high rate of time right now.
768, climb level 270, cleared
Minimum
Nemo 1
speed
whiskey.
1000.
Nemo 1 whiskey, climbing flight level 270, Transavia.
And QNH 1018. For the rest of it, we'll just request the descent forecast, and that's one to go, invertible speed.
Fraction 1876, descent 5000.
Descent 5000, fraction
And I off to our left here.
DJ 3 Alpha Whiskey,
20
contact
miles out.
München
Doesn't
123.9.
123.9, die Alpha Whiskey, ciao.
So here's the weather forecast.
Eurowings 284, Mokek
Load
2 Echo,
insert.
proceed direct Whiskey Kilo 831.
Roger, Mokek 2
And runway 16 over in Vienna.
281, confirmed.
831, Whiskey Kilo 831 on base.
Roger, direct to Whiskey Kilo 831, Eurowings 284.
Transavia 768, direct
And
Barrow.
here we are.
Look to Barrow, Transavia 7.
Vienna. And Conset. Alright, made it up to cruise and we're already preparing for our descent. That's just how it is. Live on a short haul 737.
Direct Grabio.
So it looks like we're going all the way around. Let's calculate 678 towards the final approach fix then. So Fox India 16 behind 678. And before I do that, give me 180 knots in here, please. That gives me 678 at... I don't like that. I'll make it 6,000 at lower speed. So give me, I don't know, 200 knots there and 6,000 feet. That is gonna work. Alright, so, 250 below, no, yeah, let's use 250. At this time of the day, there's not gonna be VFR
Fraction
traffic.
1876, descent 4000, cleared ILS 15.
Descent 4000, cleared ILS 15, fraction 176.
KLM 384, radar contact 4700.
And finally, time to get out our
120.
charts and start a little bit of preparation here.
Eurowings 284, descent level 170.
That's 170, Eurowings 284.
We are
KLM
gonna
384,
fly
direct
the
Kimba.
ILS runway 16, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Very good. So you give me this chart, and then let's see where we have our approach transitions.
Servus und einen schönen guten Abend, Sky Travel 438 Papa, Flight Level 310.
Schedule 438, Papa Wien, servus.
Nixie, where is it?
Queen, showing now, Conda 1 Tango Papa, Flight Level 360, CPD2.
Yeah.
Gonna 1 Tango Papa Wien, radar contact 360, servus.
Nixie 1 whiskey to Ballard, and then probably Ballard something for runway
Eurowings X6 marking Chief Level 90 inbound, debug.
Eurowings 86
gotta be Ballard.
radar contact 9000, QNH
6 Lima also.
1016, expect LS 15.
Where is it?
9000,
Just gonna find it.
1016, expect ILS 15, and
let's
we
use
have
this
Echo on
search
board
function.
Eurowings X6 marking.
Ballard 5 Lima. Thanks, that's what we're looking for. Probably gonna get a shortcut here, even from Ballard somewhere towards the final approach, I could imagine. It's taking us through the departure sector, but, well, we'll see. If we do get it, we'll just have to think ahead, and we'll just have to carefully consider what we can accept and cannot accept. And that's all that we can do about this one. So 159, 159, 108.5. Then for the missed approach 10.4. And we'll check that on both sides. Okay. What's the minimums here? 797, so we've got a little bit of turning the knob ahead again.
Bearings 2840, descent level 120.
Alright, while we're going over that, threats for the arrival, we have our taxi in once again. Rather complex routing, talked about that earlier already, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But we'll just carefully verify all the taxi instructions and make sure that we're absolutely aware of where we're going before we are actually going there. And apart from that, high energy approach is a little bit of a problem. If we do get that shortcut through the departure sector, actually, it's not even going through the departure sector. I just confused the runway. It's going
15 clear to land,
yeah, so it's basically going, if I have a look at our chart, over here. So since they have runway 11 departing over here, there is actually a good chance that we might get a shortcut somewhere like this. But we'll have to see by the time that we get there. The star is taking us down early enough, so we will be prepared for pretty much everything. So that's pretty much the arrival stuff covered over here. For the arrival, we'll go from Nixie to Ballard, and in here we have 250 below 100, forecast page in, rings runway 1610-4, and the arrival is leading us from Nixie to Ballard. Then Nixie between level between 8,000 and level 180 and Ballard above 8,000 feet. And then from there we have the Ballard 5 Lima transition. That's Ballard to Whiskey Whiskey 686 above 5,000. Basically they're all above 5,000 feet here. Then 684, 682, 680, 678, 676, 674.
Condor 6, Juliet Sierra,
673, 672, 671, and then we join the ILS approach for runway 16. That's on a chart 11-2, effective 24th March. Frequency is 108.5 on both sides with the courses of 159. And the elevation is 600, which we have up here as well. MSA, the high is 4,500. Approach starting at the Fox India 16, 13.8 miles out, 5,000 feet. I've put a 180 knot restriction here. Going down on a 3 glide path. Check altitude at 4 miles is 1882, minimum 797, which is selected on both sides. This approach is straight ahead, 10 DME Oscar Echo Zulu. In here, Juliet is 10 DME. And then a left turn to Fox Mike Delta, kilometer 5,000, which is in as well. Alright, go around as briefed earlier on, and for the arrival itself, for a diversion we need 1.7 towards Bratislava, which is literally just on the other side of the Slovakian border over here. And from there onwards, 1.7 versus 2.6, so including the full transition we still have like 25 minutes extra fuel available. We're burning 900 kilos and I will calculate with 600 just to consider possible shortcuts, so that gives us a landing weight of 53.3. 53.3, let's see what our performance tool is going to give us. We are going towards Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey. Runway 16, 2.5, dry, 170 at 5, temperature is 26 and 1018. Let's see what flap 30 is going to give us. 53, oops, we are 53, 300.
Transavia 768, contact München, correction Wien,
Year of addition, yeah,
350.
5 knots.
Wien on 13435, Transavia 7
2,000 meters. Let's see what we have. Runway 16, the overall length is 3,600, so yeah, 2,000 gets us out anyway here. Bravo 6, Bravo 8. Probably rather Bravo 6, so flaps 30 and auto brake 3. Austrian 904, request descent. Reset MCP altitude.
Austrian 904, descent level 180, cross Nixiat level.
Austrian 904, descent level 180, Nixiat level. Set. 180 is checked.
284, descent 10,000, QNH 1019er.
180 in here. Start in the descent. Right, after the runway we'll come off to the right, either Delta or Echo. Then we'll have to be very careful with all the exits that we have on the chart over here. And I guess we're probably going to park here at the northern pier, but no clue which of those hundreds of gates we're going to get, so we'll just have to pick whatever they give us and we'll have to live with it. And that's basically our approach briefing. Any questions?
Being right at the day, Mr. 9 X-ray, flight level 310, descending 170.
So what's our VNF doing
Hearing
here?
9 X-ray, Wien, Servus, descent level 130, cross Amadi at level.
Descending 130 and crossing...
you need 2 VNF,
yeah,
level change. You need 1,400 feet a minute.
Direct ballot.
Austrian 904, direct ballot. Okay, that's a good shortcut there.
Schedule 438, Papa, descent level 130.
To Ballard, execute.
Flight level 130, schedule level 438, Papa.
Fraction 176, ready for taxi.
Fraction 1876, stand whiskey 5, bye-bye.
Stand whiskey 5, bye-bye, fraction 176.
Nikolai, in real life, how often do you use Vienna for takeoff? Never. It's not allowed in my airline. Then, yeah, what was my first solo like? Well, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Eurowings 86, Mike Yankee, wind
it's hard to actually describe it. I would probably actually say that my first solo, well, my main impression was like, hey, that thing feels light. When you have an airplane close to the maximum takeoff weight, then it usually lies pretty stable in the air, but when I was flying on my first solo for the first time at some point below max takeoff weight probably, it just felt like the airplane got tossed around so much by the wind and by the turbulence, and that's really my impression of my first solo. So back in the Vienna fair now, it should give us 1,000 feet a minute to intercept the path. And Nikolai, in COVID time, with all the quarantines, when you were passing borders of other countries, did you have to stay home for 2 weeks as a pilot? No, there was an exception for the staff of crew of ships and aircraft, and they didn't have to quarantine unless coming from a certain area. So if you came from a virus variant area, then you had to quarantine. But if you came from a normal third country, then nothing really. And unique gamer, flight sim question. Any idea how to improve landings? I've done a whole landing, of course. I've done a whole video on that. Have a look at my channel. And yeah, lowering the landing gear is probably a good option. It really does help, I can tell you. When I've been in flight school, there's been an accident that happened to another pilot on the point
134.675, servus.
134.675, Austrian 904, servus. So 134.675.
Radar, schönen guten Abend, Lufthansa 28 passing, flight level 187 for flight level 170, information with ski on board.
So 28 radar, servus, identified whiskey, correct, expect ILS 16.
Expecting ILS 16, Lufthansa 28.
Wien Radar, schönen guten Abend, Austrian 904, passing level 235, descending level 180 in Mount Ballard.
Austin 904, Wien Radar Zeros identified, information whiskey correct, expect ILS 16 clear, Ballard 5 Lima transition.
Ballard 5 Lima transition, expect ILS 16, information whiskey, Austrian 904. Can we expect any shortcuts for right hand downwind?
Yes, Austin 904, sorry, second last part.
Austrian 904, can we expect a shortcut to a right hand downwind, or are we going to fly the left hand downwind?
Austin 904, a negative view will be flying the left hand downwind, but you can expect the shortcut either way.
Roger. Okay, so basically we are first of all going to follow the arrival into the downwind, and then we'll get a shortcut from the downwind.
And descending Sagan, the flight level for Lufthansa Trade.
That's fine, we'll keep going like this then.
Level 130, Lufthansa Trade.
And if they want us to reduce or something, ATC is going to call us. By the way, I don't like what VNAV is doing here. We just update the direct to Ballard. Yeah. Whatever. Vertical speed.
Austin 904, report current indicated airspeed.
Austrian 904, 273.
Austin 904, reduce. Correction, maintain speed 270 knots.
Speed 270 knots, Austrian 904. Okay, 27.
Lufthansa Trade, descent level 110.
Descending flight level 110.
Right time there, okay, was probably not too helpful, but I just reduced my rate of descent. Let's give it 2,000 for a short moment then, until we clear up the traffic.
119 decimal.
They're lower airspace, so they only need 3 miles, but we can still help them a bit. So, can we see the guy? Should be just ahead? Yeah, there he is. Okay, we're definitely clear of him. And 500 feet a minute again.
Ballard 5 Lima for runway 16, Transavia 78.
Transavia 768, report your current indicated airspeed.
So I've been interrupted so often, I don't actually remember,
Transavia 768, perfect, maintain 300 or greater, descent.
Don't actually remember what I was saying previously. Sorry.
By the
way, Nikolai, I've reduced the ATC volume a little bit. Is it better now?
Austin 904, descent level 140.
Austrian 904, descent level 140.
Transavia 768, proceed direct whiskey 686.
Thank you, whiskey 686. Transavia 768.
Lufthansa 28, reduce speed.
So yeah, I have no idea why the VNOV path is doing what it's doing. Doesn't matter though, we'll get a new VNOV module anyway, so we'll just keep it as it is.
For descending flight level 170, level by matter and 340 knots.
Austin 194, Radar Zeros identified whiskey correct, expect ILS 16 near to 6 Lima transition.
Somebody probably doesn't mind maintenance then.
Transition ILS 16, Austrian 194.
Austrian 194, descent flight level 130, reduce speed 270 knots.
Descent flight level 130 and reduce speed 270 knots, Austrian 194.
Wien Radar, guten Abend, Lufthansa 2 Bravo Whiskey, Medic von Alpha Departure.
Lufthansa 2 Bravo Whiskey, Wien Radar, guten Abend, identified, climb level 240.
Climbing flight level 240, Lufthansa 2 Bravo Whiskey.
So, let's do a little bit of calculation here. We need 60 miles to lose the altitude, plus 7 to lose the speed, so 67 miles.
Austin 194, descent 9,000 feet,
got like 40 to the downwind, 10 outbound, 10 inbound, 5 on the base, so basically we are more or less on path right now. So, let's go back to level change.
Wien Radar, guten Abend, Ryanair 6 Hotel Mike inbound.
And keep ourselves descending.
170.
Should already be able to see the airport somewhere over there.
Identified, information whiskey correct, expect ILS.
Yep, over here, we can see a runway.
Expect ILS 16, Ryanair 6 Hotel Mike.
Ryanair 6 Hotel Mike cleared near to 6 Lima transition, descent level 130.
Even though I do miss parallel runway.
130 for Ryanair.
But that's probably it.
And confirm Nerdu 6 Lima transition.
Probably.
Nerdu 6 Lima transition.
Austrian 904, sorry, change of plans, increase speed 300 knots or greater.
Austrian 904, 300 knots or greater.
Austrian 768, reduce speed to 70 knots.
Reducing
Okay, then let's go vertical speeds. Always update the Vienna page as well if you get a speed change.
Only, ciao.
Contact arrival 119.8, Lufthansa 2839, tschüss.
Austrian 194, expedite descent.
Expedite descent.
Let's see if I can fix that Vienna. If I put the final fix behind the 678 point, we can take this out and we'll take 220 knots or less over here.
Expect LS16 and cleared net
like this.
transition Eurowings 528.
What does it give us now?
Eurowings 528, descent at level 110, reduce speed 250 knots.
75 miles. Okay.
Down to 110 and speed 250.
In that case, we can also do 1,000 feet a minute.
Pilot 6, Hotel Mike, reduce speed 290 knots.
Alright, we'll have to check with ATC if we are going to enter airspace echo on the arrival. Because if we do, then we'll have to reduce our speed to 220 knots in there. That's a company requirement in the company I work for, so we are going to abide that.
Radar, good evening, Ryanair 292, passing 3,300 feet with you.
Austin 292 Tango Wien Radar Servus are identified. Proceed direct R07, climb flight level 230.
In 250 knots in echo airspace is alright at this time of the day.
Flight level 230, Ryanair 292 Tango.
Really going for like 300 knots in there is just much too fast.
Whiskey 671.
Whiskey 671.
Austin 194, proceed direct Whiskey 671.
Whiskey 671, Austrian 194.
Austrian 768, descent level 110.
Setting for level 110, 768.
Austrian 904, descent level 120.
Austrian 904, descent level 120. Confirm we'll stay outside airspace echo all the time.
Austrian 904 at the moment above level 120, you will stay outside of airspace echo. Currently, airspace echo border is at 5,500 feet.
Roger, perfect. Okay, so
Austrian 194, contact arrival 1198, course and only. Ciao, ciao.
119 call sign only, and please confirm 270 knots or 250 knots, Austrian 194.
Austrian 194, reduce speed 250 knots.
250 knots, Austrian 194 and 119, ciao.
So, 198 is in.
Mike, descent 7,000 feet, QNH 1018.
Pre-select the for us as well, that's the director frequency.
7,000 feet, Ryanair 6 Hotel Mike.
In fact, Juliet descent 8,000 feet, QNH 1018.
So, do we see the airport now? Probably not been the thing that I previously.
Austrian 904, proceed direct Whiskey 680, descent 8,000 feet, QNH 1018.
Austrian 904, direct Whiskey 680, and confirm the altitude again, QNH 1018.
Austrian 904, altitude 8,000 feet.
8,000 feet, Austrian 904.
Austrian 768, descent 9,000 feet, QNH
1018, check, set altimeter 1018. Passing 151, descending 8,000, reflex, and standby is set.
Speed 240, 7 to check.
Boeing 5 to the proceed direct Whiskey 671, expedite descent.
Direct Whiskey 671, expedite descent, Eurowings 5 shooting.
Ryanair 6 Hotel Mike, contact arrival 1198, course and only.
And Vienna.
119.8, ciao.
So they are pushing us quite a bit here with the shortcuts and the speed. I guess we are probably just in front of the rest of the traffic, so I think it might be a pretty good thing to actually not get too high above that path, because we might be getting those shortcuts here. And we've planned pretty much the most conservative, but we are probably gonna get those.
Austrian 904 below 10,000 feet, speed 240 knots.
Austrian 904, 240 below 10,000.
Level 768, direct Whiskey Whiskey 680.
Back to Whiskey 680, 7 to check.
Austrian 904, descent unrestricted 6,000 feet.
Austrian 904, descent unrestricted 6,000 feet. Set. 6,000 checked.
Right.
Enough funds to start reducing speed already. So let's stay fast for now.
Service 1068 is in 7,000 feet.
If they are pushing us like this, then we'll give them what they want. Then vertical speed and 240. Basically what I'm doing right now, I've put it into level change to see which vertical speed it's going to acquire to maintain its indicated. And now I've just dialed the speed down and put it in vertical speed to maintain that. And then I'll just reduce the vertical speed by the moment that we reach level 100 to achieve an almost level deceleration segment over there. As we just can sit down. And here we are. Alt hold. So now it's pitching up, gently of course. That's really something I like on the alt hold function. And now that it reduced its vertical speed, we'll just go VS again.
Also, Honda Papa, willkommen zurück, identified Whiskey correct, expect a less than 60 speed for...
Yeah, 100 feet a minute, that's really helping it to slow down very good. We're passing 10,000, 10 checks.
Austrian 904, contact arrival, 1198, cross and only, ciao.
1198, Austrian 904, tschüss.
Austrian 5.
Arrival, Austrian 904. And level change, approach the target speed. Descend 5,000 feet, Austrian 904. How many track miles? Oh, he's probably calculating. Alright, so fuel balance, with full control, the lights are on, angle of bank 25, air condition and pressurization, 4.2 descending set, fast modes on, recall checked, and 1.5 deselected, CP to C has never been on.
Contact taken full of
Cabin 2 10 minutes to landing. Checks complete.
Tower 123 decimal 8, Lufthansa 28, bye bye.
Austin 9 is the first, 30
Roger. Okay, 30 miles, we've got to help it a bit getting down then. Basically from now on, we're like 8,000 feet above the field, so that's 24 miles, plus losing the speed, so a little bit of tailwind, so we'll just help a little bit to get down. That should be all we need.
Second please, voyage 5 Juliet. 5 Juliet, maintain 230 knots. 230 knots, 0 in 5 Juliet. 5 Juliet, 16.
So, let's do a frisk check then.
During 5 Juliet, descend 5,000 feet.
We have our frequencies 108.5, rings runway 1610-4, idents, Oscar Echo Zulu, standby instruments set, and the course is 159. Approach checklist, alternate instruments, cross checked, approach rates, checked and set. That's the approach checklist complete. Okay, quick look at the chart here. That tells us the edge point for the transition is 674. We'll just put Whiskey 974 on the fixed page over here.
904, descend 4,000 feet.
Austrian 904, descend 4,000 feet. Set, 4,000 check. And of course it should have been Whiskey 674. Like this.
5 Juliet, reduce 2,000.
And heading select. Now we'll just go over here and heading now.
904, and left heading 250, reduce 2,000.
Austrian 904, left heading 250, speed 220 knots. Okay, that kind of solves that problem as well. Here we go. So it's basically exactly the shortcut that we've been looking for.
194, contact tower, 123 decimal 8 service.
123 decimal 8, Austrian 1904 service.
Minus 6 Hotel Mike, reduce maintain 180 on 176.
180 knots until 6. 6 Hotel Mike.
After minus 04, turn left heading 190, clear direct from 6.
Austrian 904, left landing 190, cleared ILS 16. Okay, so even cutting a bit into the profile here.
5 Juliet, cleared ILS 16.
But that's fine. Ending up pretty much right on the guide slope. But we are shortly going to get a speed reduction, so we'll help a little bit.
And W768, descend 5,000 feet.
To get down.
75,000, 7 feet.
We do have sensible indications. Approach mode armed. And we have localizer capture. And glide slope capture. Runway heading 159, missed approach.
And a 6 open back contact tower.
5,000 sets. Okay, then flaps 1. We'll start a speed reduction here. 180 or something should suit them, I guess. And a bit more speed brake, just to be absolutely sure that we actually get the airplane slow. Austrian 904 established, reducing 180.
904, maintain 180 knots until 6.
180 until 6, Austrian 904. Theoretically speaking, we're still at our speed restriction previously, that's why I just told him that we are reducing.
180, you're wing 7 Juliet. Whatever, 768, maintain 220.
Speed 220, Transavia 7
5 miles from the previous, it's probably a medium aircraft. I think I heard an Austrian call sign there, or Eurowings or something. Probably an A320 or something the likes.
768, turn left heading, let's go.
Okay, that's all he needed. Top 5. That helps the airplane to not gain any unnecessary speed over here. Alright.
That's 768, maintain 180.
Reducing 180, Transavia 7 remain.
Of 904, contact tower, 123.8.
123.80, Austrian 904, bye.
Transavia 768, turn left heading 190, cleared ILS 16.
Roger for left heading 190.
Ryanair 6, Hotel Mike, wind 1705 knots, runway 16, clear to land.
Approaching 6 miles, we don't need any thrust here.
Austrian 1904,
let's slow it down
to Vienna, continue via Echo, hold short, Echo 4.
Continue via Echo and hold short Echo 4, Austrian 192, thank you for the walk.
Hello, Austrian 904.
Austrian 904, good evening, continue approach, number 2.
I've just clicked the radio button twice, but basically the signal like I've understood.
Target A, ring 5
without congesting the frequency too much, since he did seem rather busy.
5 Juliet, good evening, continue approach, reduce speed 150.
Speed 150, ring 5 Juliet.
Austrian 194, contact ground 1216.
Right, gear down, flip 15.
1216, Austrian 194.
And the landing checklist. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear, down 3 green. Flaps 30. Oops, didn't mean to hide you. So, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 3 set, flaps 30, 30, green light, holding at landing line.
1076, holding short, Alpha 12.
Austrian 1076, good evening,
so, preceding traffic is vacating, should get the clearance any moment.
Line up and wait, runway 11, Austrian 1076.
Austrian 904, wind 1705 knots, runway 16, clear to land.
Austrian 904, runway 16, clear to land.
Ryanair 6, Hotel Mike,
landing lights on, landing check is complete.
121.6, continue with Echo. Ryanair 6, Hotel Mike.
Manual flight, 500 continue.
Wind tower, Southwest Transavia 768, 11 miles, ILS runway 16.
100.
Check.
Transavia 768. Good evening, continue approach, number 3.
Continue number 3, Transavia 768.
Continue. It's funny how the glide slope is off again. The Papi is definitely more correct than the glide slope here. So we'll probably get a glide slope warning in a moment, but I'll ignore that.
40, 30, 20, 10.
And here we are. Speed break up. Thrust goes normal.
That landing was good.
Well, thank you. Idle reverse. 100 knots. 80 knots. We'll go manual, we've missed that exit. Oh, the Rhine is blocking us, oh no. Okay, you know what? We'll take the exit into the opposite way here. That's way better than going to the next one now. Next inbound doesn't seem too far in, so...
Austrian 904, expedite okay.
Austrian 904 will go. That's a message that ATC should never tell an aircraft. Because that's how runway excursions happen. But well, with the Ryanair blocking there...
Fueling 5 Juliet, wind 1705.
Come on, the inbound is still like 2 miles out.
Clear to land 16, Fueling 5 Juliet.
Austrian 904, contact ground 1216, ciao.
1216, Austrian 904, ciao. That was not the best of the cading. It's just a pity that they are stopping aircraft here all the time. Technically speaking, I'm still not beyond the line, so he still couldn't give any landing clearances.
The blue line Austrian volume is here.
Count low, Austrian 904, runway vacated. Just give us taxi, come on.
904, wind count, stable 6 to gate Foxtrot 09 via Echo and Lima.
Foxtrot 09, Echo and Lima, Austrian 904. Okay, so, let's see what Echo is. Echo is the second one, so we've got to go to the left here, as far as I can see. Yeah, we do. Okay. So, we're probably number 2 behind the Ryanair then. Well, unless we're fast. Austrian 904, confirm we are in front of the Ryanair. Come on, say it fast.
904, give away.
Austrian 904, roger, we'll give way. Why? Just why? We'd be on that taxiway like...
Austrian 194, we have a static on Echo 51. Can you please confirm Echo 9 or 8 or 50?
Come on, Ryanair. At least taxi faster than 5 knots then.
Right.
Come on. What are we waiting for here? I should just not have asked, and I should just have gone onto that taxiway. In real life, we always see the Ryanairs going at like 30 knots or so. Please, guy, do that as well. Well, we'll go ahead, clean up the airplane. So, welcome to Gaia Simulations Vienna. Not exactly the home of frame rates. As you can see. Frame rates actually are horrible here whenever I'm landing here. When I'm departing they are kinda alright, even though still a lot worse than what is expected, but when I'm landing here the frames are really, really bad. Like, just see right now how it's lagging. That's not the connection of something, that is actually... Oh well, not gonna complain. Okay, so for the taxi in, we're going left on Lima, and then they didn't give us a taxi line into Foxtrot 9, so we'll just take, yeah,
Caution 904, change plan, taxi via Echo and Lima, hold short at Lima 2.
Echo Lima and second hold short, Austrian 904.
Hold short at Lima 2.
Hold short Lima 2, Austrian 904. Oh, where's Lima 2? Ah, over here in front of taxi line 37, okay. So it's first to the left, then hold short to beam the terminal. So, shutdown engine 2. So, we can cross this one, then we hold short in front of the next. It's also 2 associated. Now the question is, what are we gonna wait for? So they will probably have a plan. It would just be nice to know that plan.
Caution 904, contact west ground on 121.775, have a 57.
121.775, Austrian 904, Servus. And hello, Austrian 904, Lima 2.
Also 904 being ground, wunderschönen Abend. Continue Foxtrot 09er via taxi lane 36.
Fox 09er via lane 36, Austrian 904. Okay. So of course lovely that...
Also 904 turn now right on taxi lane 37.
Right on lane 37, Austrian 904. Yeah, that's the problem if we actually have to stop with an engine shutdown. Getting the thing to start taxiing again. What I don't understand is why do the VATSIM guys always give you these handovers so absolutely late? Like, he knew I was going to hold there for a very long time, but, you know, he should just have given me the handoff. But instead on VATSIM it seems like they want to see that you start reducing speed before they give you the handoff. But then of course you actually stop and there's just no sense in it. Like, why don't you just give him on to the next controller? I don't get it. But of course that's the reason why on VATSIM pilots have to stop so often, while in real life you will hardly see pilots stop after landing. They usually just go into the gate straight away. And in the meantime, you might be getting like 10 hold rod instructions or so, but then you're always given along to the next controller early enough that you don't have to actually stop then. So, I guess that's an A330 up there. Let's see if we can get into our gate. Yeah, probably just. Yeah, we can go in. That fits. Without any problems.
Beam ground, good evening, going up.
Right, Fox 09, here we are.
21,
G on the left and on the right.
Eine for Yankee Bravo, Wien ground, servus, push and start is approved, facing west.
Push and start approved, facing east-west, right now for Yankee Bravo.
Alright, here we are.
High ground, Servus, Transavia 7 Brigade, Eximo Lima, on the way to Lima.
Blue, 1 red, engine dead.
768, Wien ground, servus, continue to gate Charlie 32 via Lima.
Via Lima to Charlie 32, Transavia 7 Brigade.
Wow, those frame rates just really went high haywire.
Ready for taxi.
Lufthansa 1108, taxi holding point runway 11 via Mike.
Holding point 11, runway 11, via Mike.
20%. Anti-collision off, and let's do the shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps 1 on, electrical, APU, fasten belts off, window heat off, probe heat off, anti-ice off, electro-hydraulic pumps off, voice recorder auto, air compacts auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior lights set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder, it's 2000 standby, CB in, and cockpit door is unlocked. That's the checklist complete. Okay, nope, that's too loud for my taste. And too little frame rate. So, thank you everyone for being with us today. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed Innsbruck finally. Like, the proper experience without the engine failure. And if you did, I am really looking forward to your comments. So do let me know what you think. And before all of you are leaving, if you really enjoyed my video, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link that you can find in the description of the stream below. But only if you really liked it, okay? So, going to answer a couple of questions that you guys might have here. Nikolai, why are you taxiing with only one engine? Because it's saving fuel. An engine in idle uses about 300 kilograms of fuel, 330 to be more exact in the 737. And in one engine, the thing taxis just as fine as in two. So that's why we are then shutting one of them down. Lobix, does your airline allow pilots to disobey minimum vectoring altitude on ATC instructions? No. You're not going to disobey the minimum vectoring altitude. The minimum sector altitude, yes, but you have to stay above the minimum radar vectoring altitude. So Globix, do I want to become a typewriting instructor or typewriting examiner in some point? Maybe. To be honest, I haven't quite made my mind up on that topic yet. I might be going into the training departments in the future, yes. That could most certainly happen. It's funny, now that I've just shut the APU down, I'm getting the frame rates back. But well, I'm not even gonna think about it anymore.
1108, contact Wien Tower 119 at estimate for Schiffhook.
So we'll do jetway deboarding. You guys can open the door already. I know the jetway is still in transit, but I'm just not gonna care about that today, okay? Of course we'll offload all passengers, and we can get the full complement of our ground vehicles as well. Okay, so that's basically this. Nikolai, have I ever had a situation where my flight instructor captain was yelling at me? No, never. And honestly, if my captain was yelling at me, of course in flight we'd have to apply CRM principles to not make it into any problems. But if a captain was really yelling at me for no reason whatsoever, or at least for no, like, really valid reason. If I'm about to crash the airplane into the ground, of course he can yell at me, but for, like, anything else, that would be a reason for me just to step out the airplane after landing. Call the company, tell them I'm not flying with that guy anymore.
Wien ground servos, Lufthansa 28 on Lima.
Lufthansa 28, Wien ground servos, continue to gate, Foxtrot 21 via taxi lane 37.
Globix, can I explain VMCG? Yeah, VMCG is the minimum control speed on the ground, so that assumes a failure of the critical engine, and you have to be able to keep the airplane on the ground without usage of the nose wheel steering. So you can, or rather without the usage of the tiller. So if you apply the rudder pedals, of course that's also adding a little bit of nose wheel steering, but you have to be able to keep the airplane on the center line or within a couple of meters from the center line. And basically you have to have the capability to control the airplane like that. Alright, then VMCG in relation to the other speeds. Well, that is getting complicated. Let's see, V1 has to be at least 1 point... I might have to lie to you. I think it's 1.05 times VMCG, but I could be mistaken there. In fact, I probably am mistaken there, because that's a little bit of ATPL theory that I myself might have to just look up again. Apart from that, VMCA is really the more interesting one, so the minimum control speed air. Alex, sounds like you're sitting in the back of the room, if you know what I mean. The microphone is round about 30 centimeters from my mouth, because I'm using a microphone that... I'm using a streaming microphone now, the EPOS B20. So that one's just staying on the table in front of me. And there has to be a little bit of a distance, because with the temperatures we're having right now, it's 24 degrees where I live, but in my room I'm sure it's going to be 29 or higher. So I actually have a radiator pointed at me at maximum power. And I'm really surprised that you guys don't even hear it on the microphone itself. So, BPGD, in real life, what ground services are present before boarding? Well, theoretically speaking, of course all the services should be there before we start boarding. But here's the important part. We have, of course, the people guiding the passengers to the airplane, since we mostly are using a walk-on, walk-off boarding. But then we need people guiding the passengers to the airplane, and they need to put these straps around the plane that tell the passengers where to walk and where not to walk. Then, of course, we have to have our loaders loading the bags. We have to have the fuel truck fueling us up, a ramp agent, of course, and possibly the PRM service. So, for example, the Red Cross here in Germany, who is helping persons with reduced mobility onto or off the aircraft. And I would say that's probably the main services that we would expect. Catering is something that we actually don't do too much. That is basically done overnight by the airline, and then throughout the day we don't have to re-cater the airplane. Right, and Nikolai, waiting for the Phoenix 320 stream. Eventually we'll get there, but not today. No, I don't quite know when I'm gonna do that, but we'll just have to find a point in time. And Globix, did I ever fail an ATPL exam? No. I passed them all on the first attempt.
Continue to Bonn via Mike.
I mean, that is sort of the requirement that I've set for myself, like, if I'm not learning that stuff properly, it might kill me in the future, so I gotta learn it properly. Alright, that's going to be it for today, guys. Tomorrow I have a very long day of flying ahead, so I've got to go to bed now and catch some sleep before that. I'd like to thank you very much for being with me today. Hope that you've enjoyed the stream. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. Until then, thank you very much, and have a good evening, and then see you around.